Good afternoon, all, and welcome back to another edition of the Sal Greco Show. And I'm your host, Sal Greco. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for tuning in. I see you, Hard X Core, Sleepy Joe, Fox, 92 Charlie, of course, Hassan Mo, the chatterbox, always there. And I still have your espresso right here, by the way, Hassan. So thank you all for being here. If you can, please, if you're watching us on YouTube on the Finest Unfiltered right now, please hit that like button. Share this out with all your friends. Hit that notification bell as well. Also subscribe, because now we're closing in. I believe we're trying to get to 70,000 subscribers, which is unbelievable from where we started till now. So if you can, subscribe there as well. If you're watching on Rumble, please hit that Rumble button, hit that like button. If you're watching on X right now, streaming all over the world, please hit that like button and then share this out to all your friends, especially those in that low information bubble. See that? Almost at 65,000. Let's at least get to that by the end of the day. But I think 70,000, we could get that by the end of the week if everybody just hits that subscribe button like crazy. But yeah, there's a lot in the news. Obviously, a lot has happened in the last few days. A lot happened over the weekend. So let's just get the first thing out of the way. It was horrible to see the mass shootings that occurred. Not only, we're going to get to the one in New York, but there was, I believe, one in Australia, and then there was another one in Providence, Rhode Island at Brown University. And, I mean, this is the guy we're looking for. I guess there's John Miller, by the way. This is from CNN. John Miller used to be in the New York City Police Department. I don't know. He might have left his integrity when he left there, because now he's at CNN. But this was the footage of the person we're looking for. Still, you know, the FBI spent years looking for grandma standing around on the lawn on a certain day in January, in a cold January day in D.C., as if they committed the crime of the century when they were just like 500 yards away from a certain building and they chased these people around. They could find that person, but they can't find this guy. We're supposed to believe that this guy with his big belly and his COVID mask on, you know, we can't find the guy. Can't find him. But in response to that, in Brown University, that Providence, Rhode Island chief, where did you even get that guy? Yeah, I understand, you know, a lot of these chiefs, as you know, in New York City Police Department, they're like appointed to these positions, and you just put these yes men in there. I don't know what makes them qualified to get. I mean, there should be a checklist you have to, you know, check off. That guy in Providence, one of the worst press conferences, just and it just continuous. And here he is. I mean, this was like, if you got to listen and watch this, this is just disgraceful, the stuff that goes on. But again, each town, each jurisdiction, you put all these, you know, clowns in there, and then you expect people to like respect you and think you're like a notable police department and you're noble as a leader. And you're like, whoa, how did you get in there? And I'm not one. I understand a lot of people like to say DEI. No, it's called cronyism and nepotism. If you're a Nepo baby, you could probably make it to the top real easy. But if you're a crony, all is possible. And I mean anything. I mean, you could literally commit crimes and you'll get promoted. No one will even look at you as long as you're a crony. But if you're a regular general population guy, you don't know anyone, you just work hard, congratulations. You might have been 500 yards from a certain building on a certain cold afternoon in D.C. a few years ago, and you would have spent years in jail. I don't know. You're just standing around looking at it. And if your grandma was even worse, but they can't find this guy apparently. And apparently they found the guy for the pipe bomb that's got mental disorder. He admitted to something that clearly the guy doesn't know what's coming or going, but hey, that's the pipe bomber. And they knew this guy from 5 years ago. They had a track on this guy, but clearly the guy's not mentally all there. But let's put handicapped people in jail because that's the MO of Kaz Dordri, like Kash Patel, the FBI director. Hey, I mean, I heard maybe Kaz Dordri himself might be, you know, working under these people allegedly. That's one of the rumors going around. Imagine seeing that guy work for the feds. But but mass shootings we're talking of. Guess what? There was one in New York City in the 75th precinct. It was 16s that were shot. I guess they're arguing over a female. All right, but let's go to the esteemed soccer mom and see what she had to say.
A shooting occurred outside the venue Burbuja Events, located at 2929 Atlantic Avenue in the Cypress Hills neighborhood of Brooklyn, which was hosting a Sweet 16 party at the time. 6 teenagers between the ages of 15 and 17 were tragically struck by gunfire. At this time, none of the injuries are believed to be life-threatening. Based on security camera footage provided by the venue, 2 unidentified males were observed walking southbound on Ashford Street toward Atlantic Avenue. Upon reaching the intersection, both individuals displayed firearms and discharged multiple rounds toward a crowd gathered outside of the venue. The suspects fired westbound on Atlantic Avenue before fleeing northbound on foot toward Ashford Avenue, 2 parts unknown. The exact motive is currently unknown, but appears to be gang-related. This remains an active and ongoing investigation. NYPD detectives are following all leads and will provide updates as more information becomes available.
By the way, that was the greatest press conference after a mass shooting given by a police commissioner. At least that's what the media is going to tell you. Of course, crime is down. There's nothing to look at. This shooting will probably go down as more like, I don't know, a harassment at best. As long as a bullet's entered a body, you might have to count that as a felony. We're not sure. We don't know exactly how it's going to be handled. But, we need to praise the soccer mom for showing some poise behind that podium and, being the greatest police commissioner of all time. And also that crime is down, even though we still have body counts rising. There's bodies popping up in Coney Island. Somebody was found, dead out there. But that's not a homicide. It's just, an incident that happened. Maybe just, a lost property gone wrong or something, But, hey, New York City is safe. Go on the subways. You'll see for yourself. It's truly unbelievable. But, again, that's another mass shooting in New York City. There was one just a few weeks ago. Remember, they don't even want to talk about that anymore. So, but you are told that crime is down. And remember, the mayor under this fiasco is not Zohran Mamdani. It is the guy was standing next to Tish, Eric Adams, who right now, God knows, he's going on another taxpayer-funded trip. New York City really did itself a real disservice when he voted this clown in as the mayor. He couldn't leave fast enough, I see the comments here. It's 92 Charlie said, someone tell the chief standing there to wear his sleep apnea machine. Guy looks wrecked. Yeah, you know what? People might fall asleep just listening to the soccer mom because she sometimes preaches as if she's in kindergarten class. That's one of the things that Eric Dim would say about her. Look at this. This is breaking right now, okay? From Chris Sommerfeld, Daily News. Mayor Adams is headed to Mexico tonight, his 4th international trip since October per sources. Funding details for the Mexico jaunt weren't immediately known. His other recent trips have been taxpayer funded and come as he's been openly job hunting. Now, I don't know if he's going to be in the Trump administration. As you know, open corruption is just all over the place with that administration. It's like a clown car itself with the wheels falling off. And he's pledging, or he's saying, Eric Adams, he doesn't want to be in government anymore. And he's shopping around. He's got 4 job offers, allegedly. But he's on another taxpayer-funded trip. And where is city council? Does anybody care that your money in New York City is just being thrown around like nothing, like water? But you have, is there any fiscal responsibilities by anyone there? Is a comptroller going to talk? This is what I'm talking about. This is just the joke's all on the voter. Remember, it's WWE. You're the spectator, not the performer in the ring. They all beat each other up, then go to back. They hug, shake hands, and you're left holding a bag saying, is that real? Was that? I don't know. Kind of like the other night with John Cena when he lost. People watch that Saturday Night's Main Event. I saw John Cena. And listen, John, great wrestler. Great wrestler. He epitomized what a wrestler, an ultimate good guy should be, right? But he's no Hulk Hogan. And I'm just going to say this one time. they acted like he got a farewell that no other wrestler has in the past. But because, everybody usually doesn't get one. Ric Flair, he came back. Hulk Hogan didn't have one. But to see them after in the post show, this is my childhood is over. No. John Cena will return. He's a movie star. He can't do it anymore. He's 48 years old. But to say he's the greatest of all time, maybe if people like me weren't alive anymore, I could tell you living through the 80s, there was nothing bigger than Hulk Hogan ever, period. End of story. If Twitter and all these other, social media platforms were around back then, Hulk Hogan would have had 100 million, 200 million, 500 million followers and all that other nonsense that they make a big deal about. So once again, though, shout out to you, John Cena, who I believe is a big law enforcement guy himself. Doesn't speak a lot on social media, but he's a good man and well-deserved retirement from wrestling. So as we move along here, if you're shopping for the holidays, go to myfreedomcart.com/Sal Greco Show. This is where you should be shopping for items. I mean, why go to a Publix with your children or your wife or your husband and you got to chase the kids around? It's 40 minutes going in there, coming out, taking the items in and out of the car, chasing the kids around. You could just go online and shop. You shop with patriots, people that love and support the law enforcement, and also give back to the community by funding precincts all around the United States and law enforcement agencies and the neighborhoods, because that's what it should be about. You want to help fund things with the activities with children, fire departments, things like that. It's for the neighborhood, for the kids, and for your own safety. That's where I would shop with. So myfreedomcart.com/Sal Greco Show. And then, of course, do you get your news going on a search engine, a major one? I don't, because it's going to be all slanted one way. So let's have a word from Free Spoke. I know you surf the internet and you search for things on a search engine and you don't get what you're looking for. Well, I have a solution for you, and that's Free Spoke. Free Spoke is a search engine that does everything without all the restrictions and all the censorship, and there's no porn ads. Free Spoke is about authenticity rather than agendas. Labels media bias. No intrusions or data leaks. No porn ads, like I said. Unlimited, unbiased AI. Also deep dive podcasting. You can look it up. Go to freespoke.app.link/Greco. Download the app. You could also use the same link to get 35% off the premium subscription, which would be well worth it. Try it out. freespoke.app.link/Greco. There you have it, folks. Greco 35, get your 35% discount on the subscription. You could also use it for, your instead of using ChatGPT, this will be a lot cheaper if you used it. So it has the same functions and it doesn't give you any kind of bias. Or you want to see biased news. It actually has a feature. You lean right, you lean left, or you're in the middle. So Free Spoke. That's the way to the future. Before I get to my guest, there's one thing I almost forgot to mention, which was the murder of Rob Reiner. Okay, and Rob Reiner, big Democrat. He said a lot of stupid things in his lifetime. He also was a phenomenal actor. I grew up watching All in the Family, okay, at reruns. My family loved this show, Archie Bunker. It was like America in the 70s, and growing up in the 80s, you were only a couple of years removed from that. So he was Michael, a.k.a. Meathead, I mean, you can see what people say. I mean, I don't know what the president was thinking going after Rob Reiner the way he did. And look, Rob Reiner said a lot of stupid things, like I said, but sometimes you need to have decorum. You're the president of the United States. Be above all of this. It has nothing to do with you, Trump derangement syndrome. The guy was murdered by his son, who has severe issues with his family, mental disorder. Guy was sleeping like homeless somewhere on the streets. It's very sad. And I, for one, I mean, even your own opponents and people you don't like so much, you need to show empathy for even your opponent. So, you know, President Trump, I don't know what the hell you were thinking, but again, this might have worked like 12 years ago when you were running, but this act is getting old. And, you know, people don't have the patience for this stuff anymore. This, like, you know, his son has a severe mental disorder. It's been well documented for years. And, you know, it's very sad what this happened. You know, may God rest their souls. You know, I don't know what to say. It's like, it's very sad because no matter how I felt about what he said, I grew up with the guy. He was the meathead. He also directed a great movie, The Princess Bride, which was Andre the Giant's like great, like the only movie where you actually see Andre the Giant in it. I thought it was great. I mean, he humanized someone who you just thought was a caricature, like a circus act, you know? So again, rest in peace, Rob Reiner and his lovely wife, who, by the way, was the person that took the picture of the now president of the United States, but then contractor and builder Donald Trump in his book, The Art of the Deal. It was Rob Reiner's wife that took that picture. She was a photographer. So what a strange twist, right? But once again, you know, rest in peace, Rob Reiner, and President Trump. Have a little bit of class, you know, because this act of yours is getting very old. Like, just do the job people elected you to do. Don't spar over people's death. It's just a horrible look. All right. But now, without any further ado, let me bring on my guest, which is retired New York City police officer Ilbey Aycac. Ilbey, what's going on, brother? I see you got a new background. It looks like you finally moved to the free state of Florida.
No. I'm still in New York. I moved the stuff to Florida, so I'm going to go over there later. I bought the house in Florida. Yeah, the kids in school.
In transit.
Yes. I want to show you this first before anything. Officers Square.
That's what people should be doing instead of. I have a video for you later. That's quite disturbing. That happened in 7-9 precinct, and I'll get to that later. You'll see what these people do to police officers in the street, and I am not for that. And I understand you people want to audit people or whatever nonsense you want to call it, but you don't harass police officers either. It's one thing to film from a distance. It's another thing to go and openly harass people, you know? Fox.
I think I know what you're talking about, too. It's sad.
It is. Fox, 99 cents to the Sal Greco Show. Shout out to you. That is one cafecito, by the way. Says send out the super sticker. That's to you, Ilbey. Shout out to you. Like I said, you're a fan favorite here. But there's a few things that I wanted to start off with. I mean, first off, tell us a little bit like what you've been doing, because obviously you moved or you're trying to move. So how's that going for you?
I mean, like I said, I'm home most of the time. Pain, like I said, I had spinal surgery. This cold is not helping out. So dealing with the kids, wife, the family. I closed a house in West Palm Beach area.
Nice.
So I got a nice place in Florida, and waiting. I got to convince the wife first, so she's the boss, and then the kids, the school, everything else. Fighting for the disability still. Waiting for Article 78.
Unbelievable.
It's sad that what I seen with these chiefs, and somebody just said, I should have studied. I would have been a chief. I said, no, you don't have to study. You just got to be liked by upper high. You become a chief. Doesn't matter your PO, public safety. They will make you one. So
I agree.
that's what I've been doing, dealing with my animals in the backyard. That's it. Just waiting for you, making YouTube videos here and there, and that's it. I'm waiting for your questions. Nothing but.
There we go.
So if you got to ask me questions, I got to answer you right.
You gotcha. I get you some, but I got to get your take on a lot of things that are going down. First of all, yesterday we saw some transfers. So the first transfer I wanted to show you is that the party chief, Raul Stevenson, got transferred. Okay. And what should be noted here, there he is CTR, which is, I believe, some kind of counterterrorism division. So he went from Patrol Borough Manhattan North to counterterrorism, some kind of, unit there. It looks like Aaron C. Edwards went from DCPI to now in Manhattan North. But the thing here is, it'll be a few weeks back, there was an incident at the synagogue. They made a big deal. It was in the newspaper. They were trying to pin it on the CO of the 19th precinct. And, of course, Stevenson was working, and his underling, Pagan, who was also a chief, and Pagan was a crony of the Eddie Caban administration and friends with him. He fell on the sword. He retired. He took the blame for that. So now Stevenson, they moved him out over there. So that's the first order of business. What is your take on that one with Stevenson going to now? I don't know if this is demotion or he's not getting a third star. I don't think out of that.
I don't know. I mean, counterterrorism. If it's the counterterrorism division, I think that's a good move up to me. I mean, I will take that as a promotion, not a demotion. I mean, it's counterterrorism. Everybody's dream at the time. I applied for it one time thanks to one of the lieutenants. So he gave me a bad evaluation because they didn't like me. So I didn't end up going over there. So counterterrorism to me, from Petro Borough Manhattan North to counterterrorism, I think it's a move up. That's what I think. And
well, if you're a police officer, lieutenant, or something like that, yes. But as an executive, you're a 2-star chief. Unless you can get your 3rd star there, which I don't know, unless you become the chief of counterterrorism, meaning the CO.
I'm sure he can move up to there. I don't know, like I said, these guys, I don't know what they usually put you in certain places. I know my CO back in the day, it was Chief Morello. I don't know if you remember him from 3-4 from PSA 5. He was one of the longest state COs in PSA 5 because all other stuff that he did in PSA 5. And then he ended up moving up. They put him in IAB. Usually they say when they put you in IAB, they want you to retire. So they don't want you to be out there in the streets anymore. And then he ended up becoming a chief as a DI to the chief. So sometimes, what they do? They did it with Richie too. Richie, they as a sergeant, they transfer him from nice place, transfer him to PSA 5 for 6 months. And then after that, 6 months later, he became a lieutenant, captain, and he became a chief, move up in the ranks. So sometimes, what they do? They just put you in a quiet place to keep you calm for 6 months, and then they pick you up like nothing happened, and everything goes under the rug.
Yeah,
so this might be the case.
This is becoming a common trend, but if that isn't bad enough, so because now these transfers are coming in hot and heavy now. So there's movement right now in the NYPD, especially with the soccer mom. So there was another transfer. So they have another chief. So
you said it yourself. Gabon retired, right? So if they like him so much, trust me, they would have put him somewhere, and they would have like, okay, you know what? Stay low for a little bit, and then we'll pick you up. So he was the short end of the stick, and God knows what happened behind the doors, and they forced him. He said, either you leave or you stayed. So Stevenson stayed. So they were like, okay, yeah, we're gonna put you here. Don't take it as a punishment. So let everything cool down, and then we pick. I won't be surprised, 6-7 months from now, he becomes a 3-star chief somewhere else.
Yeah, well, there's another chief that got promoted. Well, he's actually an inspector. This was the CO of the 34th precinct, Anuiti Castillo. He just got transferred. You could put that back up on the screen. He just got transferred from the 34th precinct to now he's the executive officer of Patrol Borough Manhattan North. The significance of this is that if you don't know Mr. Castillo overseeing the 3-4 precinct, he's 100% he's a Caban crony. This guy in his precinct has a place called Mama Sushi, which was part of, it's the nightclubs that are all alleged in this nightclub extortion racket. And again, he is another friend of the mob associate, self-admitted criminal Jimmy Rodriguez, who used to own Con Sofrito, and right now he's at Sobro Garden, but he is part of that clique. So you remove the party chief to put the party inspector in. This stinks to high heaven because it looks like, well, somebody is got to protect that little nightclub extortion thing that was going on because you don't hear anything about it. And as Eric Sanders says in the chat here, he's a defendant in the Rodriguez case. And if you don't know, there's a lieutenant that was suing the police department along with another lieutenant in regards to this party nightclub extortion racket thing. So Castillo is a case of failing upwards again. So the soccer mom has not stopped anything. I keep saying this over and over again. Corruption is flourishing under the soccer mom, Jessica Tisch, who just promoted someone who's involved and has a hand in this nightclub extortion racket to now he's going to be overseeing Manhattan North as the executive officer. And, of course, that's a bigger area where there was certain nightclubs attached to the extortion racket. What are your thoughts on that one?
I mean, if me and you were cool friends for years and years, and I come in to say I'm going to fix things, you know, I still bring my own people. And, you know, these guys know each other for years and years. Like Mandabi and Tish, whoever Tish appointed, they know each other for years. It takes one, he puts the other one, and whoever they don't like, they get rid of slowly behind the doors of like take it or leave it. You know, we've seen that with Jaffe too. You know, enough was enough with Jaffe, and they said, you know what, you got to retire. So they protected Jaffe for 12, 13, 14 years. She was a chief of housing for 12 years. So come on. And then the same thing with these guys. They know each other for a long time. And like I said, why they don't make it chief? Because I'm not, like you said in your you said it yourself. I'm not in that club. I didn't hang out with these guys. They don't know me 10, 20 years. They don't know me since they won. Because I said it how it is. I wasn't a yes man. So how come they don't put you as a chief?
Yeah.
You know,
you could have been a deputy commissioner or assistant commissioner like Kaz Daughtry.
Yeah, I mean, if Mandabi was so-called so much Muslim guy, you know, if he wants to fix the department, he wants to fix New York City, put me as a deputy commissioner. Put me as one of your chiefs. Tell me, I'm telling you right now, like that favoritism, I'm telling you right now, has to go. Like, I mean, it's ridiculous what I've seen over the years, as far as the favoritism goes. If you deserve it, you get it. You know, shout out to Sergeant Herman. Shout out to Lieutenant Ramirez. Shout out to Captain Maffey, Peter Lee. These are the true leaders. And, you know, I've seen plenty of them in my career. Shout out to Sergeant Ortiz, you know, and these guys didn't take anything. They were like, oh, yeah, you know, I'm scared to go to 4 to 12s. I'm scared to go to midnights. No, they did what they had to do. You know, they stick up for the cops. Cops are the ones that get the short end of the stick end of the day, because most of these cops, when they get promoted, they forgot where they come from.
Oh yeah.
And same thing with these guys. You know, they started. You know, we call them 5-year wonder. No offense to anybody, 5-year wonder is the same thing. My sergeant, you know, 15 years on the job, getting yelled by a lieutenant who just made lieutenant in 7 years. It's embarrassing. And then he's looking at him like, yo, dude, you're a 5-year wonder. And he knows exactly what I'm talking about. Sergeant Herman, you know, I wish he can come up to this show one day. You know, I'm not, like I said, if I'm going to say it how it is. It's true. What I've seen over the years, it's what I experienced it. And it's also my opinion. It's not what I'm making up, such as what I've been through past 5 years. I mean, my whole career from undercover till now, what I've been through with department. But past 5 years, what they make me go through. I love to work. I love the streets. But what they did, every day they were trying to find something to jam me up. Every day they were trying to find something. Shout out to Rivera. Rivera is another one. I wish he could come into the show because he got jammed up. They tried to force him to retire. They tried to fire him, but he beat the case. Now he's retired. He's a cop in Florida. So
smart man.
If you didn't do anything wrong, trust me, you're gonna fight for. I didn't do nothing wrong. I'm gonna fight to the fullest. I deserve my 3/4. I'm not a chief. If I was a chief, I would have get it. I'm not a deputy commissioner either. It's sad. I got hurt back-to-back 3 times, and then you giving me the runarounds. But meanwhile, I don't want to offend anybody either. But you get a paper cut 30 years ago, and you claim it now as a chief. You get it. Like, I don't understand. Like, come on.
That whole system needs to be looked at, but the way they get the 3/4. But we'll discuss that in a little bit here. A hard X course says the corruption is so institutionalized in the department, there's no fix unless you disband it and start over. Even then, corruption will come back. Humans in general are corruptible. You have a point, Hard X Core. And the next comment, he says, years ago when us tier 2 guys started, seeing tier 3 guys getting it and above was the downfall. Tier 3 bosses equals everyone gets a trophy, kids. You know what he's saying? Tier 3 is soft. And tier 2, we were different breed. And a lot of this, you can kind of see the way it is, especially now. He's got a point. Not to degrade on the tier, and stop on the tier 3 guys. But I think he has a point with that. And also, to go back to this Castillo character, how is he involved in the 3-4 precinct scandal where you have the 311 calls? Clearly, this guy was not letting 311 calls that came in on certain nightclubs. Nobody was going to those nightclubs. And that's what he's in a lawsuit about, including the whole nightclub extortion racket thing, especially Jimmy Rodriguez, who's a self-admitted criminal mob associate that, I don't know, the whole department hangs out with this guy, but God forbid you picture with Roger Stone. Oh, my God, you have to destroy this guy's life. How is this guy falling forwards? He's failing forwards. It's just fail forward. That's a constant theme, no matter who the police commissioner is. And just in one swoop, you just saw 2 guys get transferred under the soccer mom that you go, what was that about?
I mean, it could be 2 ways. Like I said, either, calm down, wait for your turn, I'll pick you back up. Or, you know what, it's time for you to retire. But Gabon, like you said, Gabon went, he retired quick, but the other one got transferred. So it seems like, hey, relax, chill, drink a coffee, and then we pick you up. We make you a 3-star. Like I said, if I won't be surprised. And, most of these guys are yes mans. I mean, you look at all the guys that came to PSA 5, they became chiefs. All the people that goes to 3-4, 3-2, they became chiefs. And I don't see any of them complaining or saying anything.
Ilbey, as the executive officer of Manhattan North, he's going to get a star on his chest.
Of course, it's within a month or 2.
But it's established, as Eric Sanders says, the shit canning of the 311 calls is 100% established. Yet he just got promoted. He's getting promoted for doing that. Yes. What does that tell? What does that tell the troops in the street? All the NYPD rank and file. What does that tell you? He's getting promoted for getting rid of 311 calls. Whereas if you, Ilbey, didn't go to the 311, we got to take days from Ilbey. He didn't go to that 311 that nobody was there.
I can give you an example. Remember, every Christmas, before Christmas Day, they do the integrity check. They check your RMPs for shopping house. Yes. We still do it that. And then one day, this guy homeless guy, brand new sneakers, all of the sudden. He was on camera, but now he's, I think, second, maybe a first grade detective now. So if I did that, they would have jammed me up in a heartbeat, quick. Like Jaffe was trying to get us, and she did get us for leaving PSA 5 confines of 2-3 to go to 1-9 to get coffee. So if it was somebody else, nobody said anything. Richie used to get food on 1-9 side all the time, the kosher food. So
I'm gonna get to him. Trust me, we're gonna get to him. But Lone Silencer says what it says is you are with the crew and you do bad, you get rewarded. If you do good and are not with the crew, you get shitted on. Sad but true.
It is true, because remember that West Indies parade? Remember that cop who was dancing at the parade, and then he got jammed up, and all of
he did get jammed up. Yeah, he got jammed up.
A year later, he got detective shield. Like,
I saw a guy get. Did you not see a guy get promoted for giving boots to a homeless guy? Did he not get a shield out of that? I remember that.
He went to Warren Squad.
Yeah. You're still waiting. You're still waiting for it, and that guy got promoted for handing.
Yes.
I could go do that.
I'm still waiting for it, and anybody can co-sign for it. Lieutenant Ramirez, Sergeant Herman, Sergeant Ortiz, Lieutenant Tom. You could ask all of them. I'll work my behind off, and I'm still waiting for it. I'm waiting for my 3 quarters that I deserve. 3 back to back, and you put me as a cell attendant. You know I was restricted.
That's disgusting.
You just want me to disobey the order so you can get me on disobeying a direct order from a supervisor.
I can't believe this. That's disgraceful. I got to show you something that is even more disgraceful. This is the case of Hugh Tran, and this is in the news, okay? And this is Hugh Tran. Authorities say former New York City police officer Hugh Tran shot Patel in a fit of rage on Voorhees in May of last year. Tran was off duty at the time, having just attended a wedding where the judge said he had been drinking and fired 3 shots using his service weapon. This gentleman just pled guilty and is going to receive 10 years for attempted murder because he stopped his car and shot into this car and left this guy. He's a quadriplegic. The guy has barely any brain function. It's like he's trapped in a body that he can't move ever again. And there's a big lawsuit coming. And I can tell you, because I'm going to have his attorney on, the victim's attorney, Joe Marone, very good guy. This case, this victim, it's going to cost at least $30 million or more to keep this person alive for the rest of their life on 24/7 medical watch because of the mistakes and the disaster that this person who should have never been a cop was. And I can tell you, psych services, kind of assessment, they're to blame. This person came on the job already stating to psychologists and everyone that he had a drinking problem, he had a mental problem. And you're going to see this come out, and there's going to be discovery now finally going to the attorney. And he's going to come on the show and explain this better. But from all accounts, there's someone named, I believe it was Lieutenant McDonald, who was in this unit. Someone should have said, Ilbey, you have all kinds of issues. You come to work drunk. I mean, I know there's a certain disgraced chief that used to do that, but he's an officer, gets rewarded from the 2A precinct, ends up in DCPI. He was one of the 80 cops that was floating around with Kaz Dordry in them. And he gets rewarded and falls forward for literally something that this guy should never have been a cop. He should have never passed psychological evaluation. He had a drinking problem. It was well documented. People saw it, and everyone refused to say, we need to take his guns. He needs to go to the farm. Whatever it is, this guy is not mentally fit to be a police officer. And then now he almost killed this poor victim who's going to be on life support for the rest of his life. And I don't know how this ends well for the police department. How they're going to – and Tariq Shepard, the former I don't know, he's a 2-star, 3-star commissioner, whatever he was or retired as. He has a lot. He has a hand in this because he was this guy's direct supervisor as the head of DCPI, and he pulled him from the 2-8 where he was. So what do you think about that, how that happened, and now the city and the taxpayers are going to be in a hook for this? This poor guy is on life support for the rest of his life, and he can't even move. He's a quadruple. And now there's going to be a civil case, by the way.
I mean, you said it yourself. Everything starts. I mean, I don't blame anybody else but higher ups, mayor, commissioner, the chief, 4-star chief up there. They don't have no standards. They don't have nothing. They don't stick behind it. They baby everybody. I was in the academy 3 years, on and off, 3 years, 3.5 years, and I seen now you only need 24 college credits to get in. So that tells you a lot. And they hurting for people. And then when they hurting for people, they have to, this budget cut, if they get a 700 cops and they short 30 people, guess what they're going to do? Whoever's there, whoever wants to take it, they're going to give it to them. And, it's not like used to be. I mean, they hire anybody. It's sad that they do the stuff because they know these guys drunk, they drink, and they useless to the department. They still baby them because they know the higher ups, and people around them is scared to say anything because they scared to get transferred or put on the blacklist like everybody else. Because it happened to me. I went to see him one time, and then this PBA delegate who's been on the job for 30 years, I forgot his name. I would have said his name. He comes to the scene pissed drunk. Like, I went up to him, I smelled it. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, are you kidding me? With department vehicle in the department and the scene, like, these guys walk around untouchable. It's just like, it's sad. And then, God forbid you do it, they will hang you in a heartbeat. They will make an example of you because you don't know nobody. If I know those people, you know what? They would be like, oh yeah, you know what? Come down. Oh, he's good. He's not. He can't afford. But if you don't know nobody, you're done. So it's always comes back to the favoritism and biasm within this department. And who's gonna fix it? I don't think soccer mom ain't gonna fix anything, because if that's the case, I've been on the show 3 times. I've been saying the same thing. And I saw the show with Mandabi too. I wish I was on the show with Mandabi. I would have loved to ask a couple of questions to Mandabi. But like I said, at the end of the day, these people a yes man's because of a reason. If you are 100% by the rules and books, they're not going to put you in that spot because you play by the rules and books. They're going to put a certain person who's going to be a yes man. They're going to do whatever. And they got you by certain things, like certain things they have against you. They're going to use it against you. If you do it, or else. If you don't do it, or else. That's how it works. Like word on the street, Kaz was the man that hooked up the mayor and other chiefs. I mean, other people said that stuff.
I hear you. I know exactly what you're saying. We're gonna get to him in just a little bit also. But to go just to finish off with this thing with this guy. So they're gonna have a civil trial now and Hugh Tran agreed to he's going to get deposed. He's cooperating with them about anything they want to. He's basically going to tell. He was crying for help, yet the police department did not give him any. But right now they're going after 31 cops who, by the way, 31 cops who they said are no good. The psychological evaluation, even though they were cops, they passed the academy and they've been in the street for like 2 years. And now all of a sudden, 2 years ago, we think you failed this thing. They're asking these 31 cops to sign a waiver, and then they want them to do what's called long probation, which is 36 months. That whole thing sounds ridiculous. You pass the academy, you pass everything, you're making arrests, you're a modeled cop, but wait, the psych eval from police academy, the unlicensed psychologist said you're no good. That's a whole nother, that's tied into this because this gentleman should have never been a cop.
You know why though?
Look what he just did.
You know why though? Because to cover their own behinds. I mean, if you look at it, you was in the department when they started doing these online courses. Oh, you got to do a course, like 10 courses every day. And they turn around. That started when that shooting happened in the housing, when they accidentally fired a round in the staircase and the person ended up dying.
Yep.
And then they started doing these courses. At the end of the day, you turn around, something happens. They'll be like, oh no, this cop was trained. Trained where? Oh, online. He did the course. Look at it. Look at his history. Look at his transcript. Oh, he trained on to cover their own behind because 31 cops, you going back years later and you question, if I was those 31 cops, I get together, I get a lawyer and I sue these people. Why did you hire me in the first place? If that's the case, why are you making me go through? Now you're making me, you're going to make me have a PTSD. Plus you're making my family look bad.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing just to cover their own behind. They do this all the time. You've seen this over the years to cover. Oh, I told you so. Yeah, when? Oh, you did it online. Yeah, but who pay attention to online? You rushing me to do an online course because it doesn't look good. Oh, did you do this course? No, get on your phone, do it. Do it on patrol. Give me an actual training. Don't just tell me to go do it. You know what I'm going to do? Yes. That's what I'm going to do. At the end of the day, something happens. Oh, you train on that? No, I did. No, yes, you did because you did it online. That's what it says here. To cover their own behind.
This is going to be earth-shattering what's going to happen with that case and Eric Sanders is all over that because I think every one of those cops should have separate. Get out of the union, go to your own attorney, because you're standing and sitting on firm ground as long as you don't follow what this union is going to tell you to do. Sign it. Don't worry about it. Throw your life away. Yeah, probation's nothing, kid. Don't worry about it. No. It's very important that you look at that. And why? This kid, Tran, I saw Samara Cohen ask, like, she said something. She said, how does Tran's case involve the department? He was off duty. It has everything to do with the department. He was in need of help. And instead of helping him and taking away his guns, they let him go to the DCPI unit and take video of the infamous, the Iwo Jima moment when they were raising the flag over there at the university. Remember that? That was him that took that video and pictures there. Why is this kid who has no business being on the job even in a prestigious unit like that, where he's getting rewarded for being a drunk, for having mental problems, and instead of helping him, you're destroying him? That's everything to do with the police department. In fact, John McCarthy says Hugh Tran should have had his guns taken or been sent to the farm. He wasn't, because the supervisors in DCPI from the top down are inexperienced and don't want to be bad guys. And now lives are destroyed. This could have been and should have been easily avoided. Okay, I agree. And Eric Sanders says Tran's conduct can be attributed to the department. There's case law to support on the 42 U.S. Code 1983. 42 U.S. Code 1983. That's look. The job is in trouble with that, and there's going to be a day of reckoning with that. And from all accounts, this is why they have that candidate assessment, psychological. Clearly, they're picking on. They're nitpicking right now. The 31 cops, right? Because the soccer mom wanted to really hurt Inspector Anderson, who was the CEO of that unit, which was just, they're just smacking him around because in the end, he doesn't have a real say. It was really chief of personnel. But if you're going to fire those 31 cops, psychological stuff, what does it say about this guy? This guy basically shot this guy, left him for dead, which he's a quadriplegic, and then went home and went to work and didn't say a word. That has everything to do with the job. The job and the city of New York failed this kid who had no business being there. And it's because of the supervisors in charge. Tariq Shepard, his XO, the CO, he was a 2-8 CO. He transferred. Why you even transfer this guy? Get this guy the help he needs. He shouldn't even be a cop. But then again, now you have what? Lives are destroyed. And then, who cares? Party all the time. That's the mentality of these people. That's the problem.
They are. I mean, they throw that 31 cops under the bus. But I bet you those 31 cops are handpicked 31 cops, because there's more than 31 cops out there that didn't pass psychs, and they cops out there too, and they probably know people upper high, and nobody says anything because they know upper high. They in that buddy program. So I bet you related to Tish and Tish Goonies along the side that didn't pass the psych either.
And she got a lot of cronies, trust me. She's got
and then they get that 31 cops. Oh yeah, 31 cops. We're doing our job. We're trying to sort the problem that they had before. So Mandabi gonna take charge, and she's gonna be like, yeah, now it's the new mayor. Oh, this is what we did. 31 cops that it was hired by Aycac Adams is gonna be gone. It's vice versa. These guys bash each other, and then they go at nighttime. They hang out together. You've seen Aycac Adams and Cuomo together. They bash each other left and right. They call each other names, and then they go to basketball game together. Like, I mean, where's the honor?
Oh, yeah,
where's the dignity? Like, same thing with the department. It's same thing. They talk, dirty behind your back, and then next day they go to lunch together. It's just ridiculous. It's a shame. There is no rules and regulations. It's always patrol guide. Yes, patrol guide. And you know what, Chief? Aycac Adams says something. Chief writes a finest message, and boom, patrol guide has changed. It's my way or highway. Like, I mean, it's like
that happened recently with the body cameras at the paid detail, because the soccer mom walked up to someone and didn't like it. They said, we don't have to wear body camera on paid detail. Changed on the spot. Meanwhile, a cop got arrested at the police academy that same day. But one PP was worried about changing the patrol guide procedure or revision for the soccer mom. Yeah. But you just had a rapist cop who, I don't know how that person passed, because they have another issue where they were involved in a sexual assault or one of the people of interest in one, and somehow they passed the psych and passed everything at the at county assessment. And that case, by the way, I believe is still open, and it's in a Brooklyn South Command. That same recruit. It's
not a new thing. It's been around since 2020. It was a cop when I was there. FBI came through. They pulled this guy to the side. Next thing you know, the guy came in and resigned. They found out whole story. He applied for something else, federal, and then he failed the lie detector. So they came back, and then the PBA comes in. He was like, either you're going to resign or we're going to fire you on different circumstances, because they don't want to get involved. They could have do a lot of stuff. And then the guy probably applied somewhere else. He probably went to Washington, D.C. to become a cop. So it's the same thing. And then goes around, they having the same problem. Nobody follows up anything. We had a cop who came in asking me for my shield number and my name because he didn't like the way he was treated in the academy. He starts a whole 9 yards. And then next thing you know, 6 months later, he's back in the academy. I was like, yo, this is the guy who yelled at you, and he wanted to make a complaint, CCIBs and IIB, for me doing my job. Now you hiring him again. It's a joke.
You know, this is a good one. Hard X Scores brought this up like on other shows. So who pays the cop for the body cam pickup, pre-tour and post-tour, docking, uploading for off-duty paid detail? Crickets from the union. Oh, no, the union's too busy having Eric Adams show up to their little gala where God knows who's going there, what criminal felon, what guy who's likely to have engaged in criminal activities they're hanging around with. But no, nobody's going to get charged with anything. It's only Sal Greco can't hang out with someone who they don't like. But they could do it. You know, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, remember that lieutenant who got jammed up or fired? I don't know. I don't remember. Keep a track. But he was stolen time because he was going to the gym in 1PP, and they never liked this lieutenant.
Yeah.
They wanted to get rid of him, so they got him. And they're like, yeah, we got him. You know, the inspection was they get so happy when they do stuff. Like, oh, we got him. You know, chief, I got him. You know, finally, he's going to leave. And then meanwhile, they do the same thing. With your money and my money, they go to Mexico to hang out. God knows what they doing over there. And, you know, how many millions of dollars they getting in reward money or any kind of sponsorship for doing it. But meanwhile, you do it, I do it. If I'm not liked or I'm not in the club, you know, they do anything to jam you up.
You're done. You're done.
You're done. Like, I mean, rest in peace. It's like, it's over for you. And I love the way, and that happens, you know, they go in the church, they go in front of everybody and say, oh, he was a great guy. Oh, he was this. It was how you know? You never hang out with him. You never said hi to him. And they have a nerve to go. It's disgrace. It gives me the hibby-jibbies. Hearing these guys talk about a fallen, you know, cop or fallen soldier. Oh, it was how you know?
Yeah,
because you don't know. And then next thing you know, year later, they talk shit about him. I'm sorry. Excuse my French. It just pisses me off. It just gives me hibby-jibbies, you know. I've seen it plenty times.
Ilbey, that's the NYPD way. Even the soccer mom, she just continues a tradition. But we're talking about DC, and you talked about the soccer mom. So I put this post up because this is off a New York Post article that I'm going to read one excerpt out of. It says, I put this up. You think it's just DC that does this? The Post should actually look at themselves for how they continually write puff pieces about the soccer mom who uses this exact same playbook in New York City with the NYPD. And what this article entails is the DC police chief accused of fudging crime data by any means necessary in blistering report. And the first two paragraphs, all I'm going to read, is all you need to know. DC Police Chief Pamela Smith pushed officers to lower crime statistics by any means necessary, including by categorizing even some violent offenses so they weren't reported publicly, according to a scathing congressional report issued Sunday. The findings cast doubt on city data showing violent crime fell by 35% and property crime by 11% last year, and offer support for President Trump's claims that data was forged to create an illusion of safety, which he also claimed when launching a federal policing surge in August. Where have we seen that before? It'll be must be going on right now in New York
City. Let me tell you by experience. Me and my partner, he knows I talked to him today. Actually, he's a captain now. Me and my partner, we went into the project, Lexington houses in Harlem. So we stopped this gentleman. We wrestled him on the ground, trying to get some heroin out of him. Next thing you know, we stood him up. He takes something out of his pocket, trying to stab me on the neck. So I caught him. I find out it was a nail filer. So we call it 85. We arrest him. I charged him with second degree felony. And then my CO's like, no, you can't do felony. It looks bad. This and this. They downgraded to 3. So it can look nice, you know. And then next thing you know, he goes down to MCB. He talks to, ADA's talked to them before the trial case. And then she calls me back. She said, oh, yeah. He said if he had a chance, he would have killed you, he said. He admitted it. So we're going to bump it up to second degree. I said, oh, wow. It's sad because they try so hard to make themselves look good because on their time, on their clock, when they're working, the crime is so low, they're making this place like a living heaven. And I don't know why they do that. Listen, dude, you're not going to do anything by doing it. I don't know why. Oh, I know why, because they want to get promoted. They want to get that next rank because they don't have to go take an exam to become a DI or inspector or chief. So they want to look good to the higher ups by lowering the crime. And meanwhile, everybody on the news like, the crime is low in New York. Come on, now you're fooling all other people who wants to go to New York City and they go over there. It's like, it's been happening for years. They've been doing this for decades and nobody's changing. Just let it be. Just let it be. And then don't judge these bosses by how crime is going. No, you know what? Cops are out there doing their work. They always out there doing the work. So give the cops a reward instead of you giving these higher ranking officers a rank because the job they're not doing the job. The cops are doing it. They just there grabbing the cookie points.
This has been going on. And look at this. This is violent crime from 2005 to 2024. Do you see where this has gone? It hit the low in 2018. Look at it skyrocket for the last 7 years, including now, where it's the highest ever, Ilbey. Yeah. The highest numbers ever.
And they're trying to keep that on the low. They trying to say, oh, it's not happening. Yes, it is happening. It's shots fired every day in Harlem. Like, come on, who you kidding? Like somebody gets stabbed, somebody gets shot. Like they always trying to cover. And a lot of stuff that media doesn't go in because, I don't know who they get paid by. So they keep it on a low. It's always like that. You know it. I know it. Everybody else. If you don't know it and you stuck with one media streaming, it's wrong. It's sad because they do the same thing. Like one media says, oh, yeah, it's happening. The other one said, oh, no, it's not. It depends on who's paying the better money. It depends on whose side they on, who they trying to look good at. It's sad. And who's doing anything about to change it? Mandabi ain't going to do it. Look at a guy he just appointed for Justice Department, I think it was. I was just looking at it the other day. Like, I mean.
Yeah, I saw that. I think that's for the counsel, like one of the lawyers for the mayor's office, I believe. I don't know if it's he's going to have to start showing some people. I don't know yet. I think it's this week you're going to start seeing that the names that are going in because they're emptying out Gracie Mansion as we speak, as the illustrious man in New York right now, Eric Adams, is on his way to Mexico. So he's too busy for New York City. So, I mean, this has become a freaking mess, Ilbey. And the exclamation point is finally what I'm going to talk about right here. And that's Deputy Chief Richie Taylor. Okay. This is coming from Eric Sanders. The Tale of Two Cities, the perfect comparator in NYPD discipline. Sources allege that Deputy Chief Richard S. Taylor recently claimed in a departmental interview that he worked from home for over a year instead of signing into the department facility. That is illegal, by the way. Here is the program. Here is the problem. Who authorizes? It certainly wasn't former Deputy Commissioner of Community Affairs Mark Stewart. It wasn't interim Deputy Commissioner Alden Foster. In fact, the department has already established a clear standard on this. In the prosecution of Detective Specialist Janice Smith, and this is Department Advocate's Office case number C-034320. The Department Advocate's Office went on record characterizing the very idea of Assistant Chief Scott Henderson a rank above Taylor, authorizing Smith to work from home as asinine. If working from home is as asinine impossibility for a black female detective specialist facing termination, how does it become a valid defense for white deputy chief facing questions about his time and attendance? This obvious disparity creates the perfect comparator for this disparate treatment claim. The rules are either absolute or they are selective. The question now is, what are the savior, Police Commissioner Jessica S. Tisch, a.k.a. the soccer mom, and investigative authorities going to do about this? Obvious theft of time. Will the standard apply to everyone or just some?
Nothing. They're not gonna do nothing about it. You know why? Because they like you said before, they in the club for over years. They know each other for a long time. You know why? How I know this? Because Richie was a sergeant in my PSA 5, short amount of time, right before the election of de Blasio. And you know how he got to PSA 5? Because he came from a good unit. He came to PSA 5 because he got caught doing something with the election. So, you know, that's what I said. When the experiences come through, I speak by what I see, what I seen, what I experience. And the truth, the reason being is they send them over there to, you know, calm everything down, cool everything down. Oh, yeah, we coach you. Yeah, you was on this side. And then boom, de Blasio becomes a mayor and my man moves up. He becomes a lieutenant. He becomes a captain. He becomes a DI, inspector chief. Now, what is he, 3-star, 2-star?
He's a 1-star right now.
And that was 2000. He was a sergeant in 2014, 15, maybe 16.
13 or something, because then he was a lieutenant. I know exactly what you're saying.
And, you know,
this incident happened in Brooklyn South, by the way. He was in Coney Island and in Brighton Beach and in Sheepshead Bay. And I even know the whole story. He went over there. He was electioneering. He had a gun on his hip. That is not we're going to transfer you. That is an arrestable offense. It is a federal felony, what he did, actually.
Yes. And plus, the funny part is this, you know, he used to fight over Sergeant Dung, who's going to stay behind, because he was scared to go out there in PSA 5, out to the street. They used to fight who was going to stay at the TS, who's going to cover TS all the time. And one story, you know, I heard that he sold his lieutenant. He read it on, he threw his lieutenant under the bus. You know, I know that by firsthand experience. You know how? I called in my sergeant. We used to do, you call your squad sergeant. Say, Sergeant, I want to take the day off. And my sergeant, when I called him, Sergeant Marshall at the time, he said, dude, I'm on the detail. Call the desk. So I called the desk. Delgado answers the phone. Delgado is like, Sergeant, Aycac wants to take the day off. Oh, he looks at the roll call. He's like, yeah, give him the day. Next thing you know, I'm getting a phone call from Lieutenant Gulubivi's driver, Pavel Gomez. And then I got to threaten his message on the text message saying that, oh, you better show up to work. You didn't get authorized. So what do you mean? Delgado wrote my 28. Sergeant authorized my day. So you telling me that it's not authorized? I put in already. So I didn't show up. I went the next day. He said, she said she was going to give me a CD for AWOL. I said, AWOL? I said, what are you talking about? I said, I called the desk. Ask officer that if Delgado wasn't there, he would have denied that he never authorized that day. I know that by experience because that's what he told the lieutenant, that he never authorized the day.
Oh, my God.
So I know him personally. And Gulubev was another story, the lieutenant. You probably heard about her too over the years.
But the problem here, Richie Taylor, is that the DOI is, I could tell you with 100% certainty that they are investigating him for this entire debacle. And he was at an interview department. It's a GO 15. And he said that, yeah, he's working from home. But who authorized that? You can't just say I'm going to work from home because I'm a deputy chief. Because Janice Smith, who's a detective, they actually said that she wasn't authorized to do it, even though she got permission from an assistant chief that's one rank higher than Taylor. And the caveat was that the New York Post wrote that she was doing overtime from home, where that never happened. That was never alleged. That was some New York Post hit piece smear. Oh, Janice Smith was taking overtime. No, she wasn't doing overtime from home. She was home and she put days off that she wasn't even working. She did everything she's supposed to do, other than the only thing that they had a problem with is that they didn't like Henderson. Or at the end, the soccer mom didn't like Henderson, didn't like her. But Henderson has his own problems, Henderson. He authorized her to do it. So you can't go over what he says. He's a 2-star chief. Now, if he didn't go up the chain, if he doesn't do anything, that's on the NYPD, not her. But here, Taylor's saying, well, I am authorized. Who authorized you? The soccer mom? Stewart? And remember, the soccer mom, from what I was told from sources, that she told them backdate the 28th, so backdate the leave of absence form to say when you were not here. You know, you can't do that. A year later, over a year later? Are you kidding me? This is a theft of service here. And we're just going to sit here and go, oh, well, we gotta praise Richie Taylor. And just to go into this, again, this is from sources right there, you know, right in the room with these guys. Another person that did the exact same thing like Richie Taylor, Kaz Daughtry, who took over 375 Pearl Street, threw out the whole HR staff over there, okay? I don't know who authorized him to do that, but he did, right? And again, nobody knows when he was working. This goes back to when he was even a deputy commissioner, assistant commissioner. Nobody knows when he was working. Nobody knows when he left. He was putting in for overtime as an assistant commissioner, which you can't do, but apparently you did. So that's coming into question. Is everything under Kaz Daughtry? You're allowed to retire. I'm not saying you can't. He was supposed to be at the MELD desk, something you know very well, but he's retiring as a deputy commissioner with all of this stuff underneath him. And I understand that nobody knows when he signed in, signed out, took off, vacation, nothing. There's no slips. I've seen anything with this guy. Same thing like Richie Taylor. And now he's he's out the door. What do you guys say? It stinks. It stinks.
Exactly. But if you and me do it, you know, they would have hang us in the heartbeat. But they do it. If I don't put my 28 to get a time off, oh, you didn't put 28 time. You're still in time from the department. But meanwhile, these guys been doing it. I've seen it. I seen it like this guy's been doing it for years and years. And then somebody else said it here too. He said, I seen it. I watched them get signed. Yes, I seen it too. I get them. And then I look at it. I was like, it's a shame. And then what are you going to do about it? Nothing. Because you know what? The higher ups is standing behind it. What are they going to do? What's Tish going to do about this? Nothing. Because you know what? God knows how long they know each other. You know, they probably going to be like, okay, to Richie, you know what? Retire and we call it a day. You get your pension. You go out your way. You're happy. Be happy. They're not going to do nothing about it. They're not going to punish him either. But if it was you and me doing it, and that cop who been working all those time in PSA 5 do it, next thing you know, he get jammed up, he gets suspended, modified, and nobody cares. Nobody will help him about it. But these guys do it, I bet he will get his next start.
So Ilbey, it's what we actually titled the show about today: selective persecution of people. You're persecuting people selectively. It's not even discipline. It's not, because what you're saying is Richie Taylor and Kaz Daughtry are special, and God forbid you forgot to put a slip in, you're stealing time. And we're going to crush you and your sergeant and all of that, whoever's on the desk and didn't approve or approves this. Meanwhile, these two guys, nobody knows who's approving anything or saying anything. Remember, the person that approves this, you're in on the skim. You know what I mean? That's what this is. So you have to justify why you approve this and why these two are getting special treatment. Also, Kaz Daughtry had a scout team or a scout hanging out in Long Island in Suffolk County recently. The unit that he's in charge of, that fell underneath him, nobody knows who's supervising them. Nobody knows what they're doing, if they're signing in the work, signing out the work. Nobody knows anything with these guys. It's like everything's in the dark, okay? And on top of it, his pension comes into question. Well, variable supplement. Well, wait a minute. He didn't work for 20 years as a cop. He was about 19 because he did deputy mayor for the last year. Then as an assistant commissioner, he was getting CCRB'd. He's the only commissioner in history that falls under three things, right? He's a deputy commissioner or assistant commissioner while he was still active on the job, meaning he had less than 20 years. And also, he got CCRB'd, which has never happened for a commissioner, because there's one other commissioner like him that retired in 1994 under Rudy Giuliani. The difference was that commissioner, who was a detective too before, he did not get CCRB. He got CCRB, Cazorgia, and their excuse to CCRB for the reason that he couldn't go to CCRB was that he was a civilian. So how is he a civilian, yet now he's back to being a cop? He's retiring as a cop. You didn't face CCRB. I don't know if you were at the MELD desk. You're supposed to be. All we're saying here is there needs to be clarification, because this is people's taxpayer money that is now funding all this stuff. And there needs to be an explanation, because he would have got terminated had he gone to CCRB. First of all, he perjured himself twice. He shouldn't even be out in the street. He had a gun on his hip as a commissioner and a body camera footage too. I mean, the whole thing is odd, but yet he didn't face CCRB because they said, oh, he's a civilian. But now he's back to being a cop, apparently. So it's like, someone explain all of this to the little old taxpayer. That's all I'm saying.
I explained it. He probably has something against Eric Adams, and he does whatever he wants. Maybe they do hang out. They buddies, you know.
Maybe they do hang out. I can tell you.
Maybe they do parties together. Maybe he knows something that he doesn't know, that he's using it against it. It's so easy. Like, you're not gonna tell me. Even though you got me on something, trust me, my honor comes first and dignity. And like I said before, if I become a mayor, if I run for mayor or anything, if you sponsor me, you give him millions of dollars, you give him millions of dollars for a reason. You're not going to give me millions of dollars for no reason. Same thing with the Tish's family with Mondavi. Why is Tish's family giving millions of dollars to Mondavi's, mayor run? I mean, there's a reason for it. And guess what? It happened. Boom. She's in again. She's going to be the commissioner again. I mean, there's plans. They always plans ahead of time from 5 years, 10 years. And God knows who's controlling them up high. And there's the other body. They don't think, she doesn't run the city herself. She doesn't run this police department. Mondavi ain't going to run the police department. So that's how it goes. And that's how always been. It started with Bullenberg. De Blasio took over. Eric Adams got it. Now this guy. So, and then some odd reason, these guys win the elections. So I don't think it's a fair election. I don't think it is. So
stinks to hide. This stinks. Though it stinks that what's going on here. Two people are favored to do whatever they want, and anybody else. I mean, you leave work 5 minutes late, 5 minutes early. Oh, I forgot to go on the phone. Oh, wait a minute. That you're stealing time. You're like, what? But this guy doesn't even put in for a slip for years. What's going on? Oh, you don't question.
But at the end of the day, they call it the all equal. Everybody, everybody is equal. But guess what? You got to lead by example first as a chief or commissioner, and you got to look out for your cops. If commission is controlled by the mayor,
that's
there's
true.
No brands. You cannot, control the police department. So it got to be higher police rank to control the police department. Yeah, you can tell me to do, but I'm a 4-star. I got, promoted by the cops. Cops put me here. So I am going to run it the way that should be run. It should be, like I said, the first time we talked, I said it should be rules and regulation. I mean, this police department is like the biggest police department in the world. It should have its own court. Like, it shouldn't be like the military, military justice. It's the same thing. Like, I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, like if you did wrong, they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm chief of such and such. Oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, go to PSA 5, relax for 6 months. We take care after that. Like, we've seen it happen. You said it. Like, all this happens. Like, if you're favorite of somebody, you get it treated different. It used to be the race. Now it's the favoritism of who you know, like who runs the department. Like, oh, I know Chief such and such. Oh, yeah, you do? Okay, you come this way. Oh, I know Chief such and such. Oh, you come this way. Oh, I don't know nobody. Okay, you go bottom of the bottle. Like, you go to 7-5 or whatever whatever is the worst command you can go to. And then they turn around and say, oh, yeah, departments need. Yeah, but this guy just went to Midtown South. Why am I going over there? Yeah, that's how you. No, it doesn't. It takes one phone call. It's who you know, and I don't want to say other word. So
yeah, I know. I got it. I know. But we're out here exposing all of this. All the cockroaches are coming to the light now, because for years it was just the rumor, and people were afraid to talk because the big thing is you're a rat, you're a snitch. No, you are part of the problem. When you turn around and call someone a rat or a snitch or anything like that, you're part of the problem, because you're either in on the skim or you don't want people seeing whatever the hell it is you're doing when nobody's looking. Okay,
exactly.
But this is not a work environment. This is toxic, what we're talking about. So before we go clapping, listen, I know there was a detective. I think his name is Michael Greeny. He did a great thing. He stopped his car. He got out. This baby was choking. Took her out of the baby seat in the other car. He stopped his car to do this, and that was it. He got her to stop. He did the Heimlich maneuver. He did what we're trained to do, and that baby stopped choking. He's a first-grade detective. And, yeah, that's a great thing. That's a feel-good story. But, again, we applaud him, and then you look at, well, there's a poor guy right now that's facing charges for nonsense, and that guy goes to work thinking the worst. Like, I don't know, should I hang myself today? Should I quit today? Meanwhile, that's what I'm trying to talk to people about. Nobody cares about that guy.
Nobody cares. You know why? The units within the units don't care either. If you go to OEO, you go to IAB, you know what? By the time you get to your command from that allegation you make, they already know already. Somebody called and said, oh, yeah, this guy came over here to make allegations. They already know about it. Like this, remember the lieutenant? He used a taser on an EDP, fall down the stairs, and then next thing you know, they took his gun and everything. They were bashing him down. Oh, you done? Dead man walk. And next thing you know, he took somebody else's gun and killed himself. It's sad that how they do it. And meanwhile, these people who does the crime in the department, real criminals, they get awarded.
That's why
I see it too.
I want to applaud all the men and women do great things and highlight this. But for every highlight, there's a lot more negative in that there's someone out there right now that's feeling exactly what I'm saying, and nobody's there to help. You know how I know? Because I went through it. Because Ilbey went through it. Because John McCarry went through it. Because Marlon Bethel went through it. And Eric Dim went through it. And you know what? There was no one there. When you are in the hot seat, man, you have no friends. All you have is, man, that guy, man, he it's over. We can't be even seen around him, or else we're next. So I know that feeling, and I'm here trying to help those people, because it's BS when really it's the Richie Taylors and Kaz Dodgers of the world who should be in the hot seat facing either discipline, termination, or indictment. Let's be honest. That's what you should be facing.
Yeah, and they making the money that I'm supposed to make too. So, I mean, I wish Kenny, shout out to my boy Kenny Rivera. He's a cop in Florida right now. I wish he could come on your show and talk about what they did to him. You know what? He had a spirit. He believed in God. He did what he had to do. He said, I didn't do anything wrong, and he fought it, and he won, and he retired. They put him on patrol till last day of his work, and he's a senior cop. When you in the body program, they put you behind it. Dude, you're going to retire, relax. So they put him on the street till last day. Last day, they tried so hard to get me in trouble over the years. They couldn't do it, And I look at it this way. If you have nothing to hide, if you have nothing to worry about, let them do whatever they got to do. Karma is a crazy thing, because they pay the price off at the end of it. So don't do anything stupid, because, thank God other people, because they don't get supported by the department, the units within the department. And like you said before, when you're down, nobody wants to be around you, because God forbid they around you, they the bad people too.
Yep.
At the end of the day, if you didn't do nothing wrong, you know what? I still go home. I still come back to work. I left my home at work. I left work at work. So I never mixed them together. This is how I looked at it. I always think in negative. I prepare for the negative. If the positive comes through, I praise the God. If it's not, I work hard. You ain't gonna do nothing to get me unless you have a legitimate reason, because I'm gonna fight it to the end. So if you didn't do anything wrong, you know what? Fight it. Don't take it. Oh, no, let him do it. You know what? Fight it. It's gonna be one person at the end of the day is gonna help you. One person.
Vic says here, I learned that coworkers are not your friends, no matter how long you work.
No, I didn't trust. Look, it's sad. It sounds sad, but I didn't trust none of them. You know why I didn't trust none of them? I've been through the GO. As soon as they go in there, whatever they tell them or whatever, how they feel, they throw you under the bus. Like, oh yeah, he did it. Even though you didn't do it, 3 of them, 4 of them comes together, they throw you under the bus. I've seen it happen to me. Like, I was like, what are you talking about? Thank God, I kept everything in my memo book. Thank God I have everything together. Like, I could give you an example left and right for everything. I wrote 2 summonses. Shooting happened. I wrote 2 summonses. I'm with the sergeant. I wrote an AC summons and ABC summons. Possession of an alcoholic beverage and drinking under the age of 18. So that's 2 different summons. It's not double. What is that called? Double.
Yeah.
Double dipping. So Jaffe, they go in front of Jaffe at the time and said, Officer Aycac was double dipping. And I looked at my sergeant. I said, yes, Sarge, you authorized it that once. 2 is not double dipping. One is AC summons. The other one is ABC summons. Yeah, but don't fight the system. You're not going to. I said, you was the one there. You're the one who authorized it. So him trying to look good, he throws me under the bus. So how am I going to trust this guy? And then he turns around and says, look what it says. Sergeant Rodriguez on scene. That's what he says here. Oh, yeah, but don't fight the system. You're not going to win. It's not fighting the system. I'm not double dipping. Did you raise your hand and said, my officer did not double dip? Ma'am, one is AC summons. The other one is an ABC summons.
Yeah.
I didn't give open container and alcoholic beverage under the AC summons. So, like I said, don't get encouraged by these people. If you didn't do anything wrong, fight for it. Like you seen these people, people suicide because of this reason. They think like it's the end of the world because of other people bash him down. That's what happens. It's sad. It's really sad.
100%. I've seen it. I've been victimized by it, but I still defend anyone that's in that uniform, especially if you're going through what I had to go through and others, because it's a terrible experience. I mean, I'm still living through it because it's not over yet for me. Although many others that actually committed crimes, that they got pardoned. I didn't even commit a crime, but I'm still paying the price for that stuff. You imagine that? That's the worst part of the story. Special Agent says, how come none of these executives are getting the celebration when they're leaving? I had a feeling it will be the same with Cass too. Yeah, somebody was hobbling around on a alleged ankle injury, but he didn't get that walkout, even though he talks like a big tough guy online, right? Let me just state one thing with that guy before I get to the next subject. I know there's someone out there that has pseudonym accounts, all kinds of stuff. And he's saying all kinds of lies, smearing me, John Macari, Eric Dim, the finest unfiltered. There's a reason I don't ever respond. You're irrelevant. You were relevant when you had a few stars on your collar brass because you spoke for the police department, and you're going to be answering for that in a courtroom very shortly, pal. But to answer you is like you're trying to punch up to us now. When you were in uniform, no one could punch up because you had a few stars on your collar brass. But now you're just plain old civilian. Maybe you're the chief of the bar stool right now. You're hobbling around, but you go to WABC studios, you go to this podcast, you go here, you go there, you go back to the bar. You got all your pseudonyms, all your beer muscle buddies with you trying to say these stupid things. But I've never seen a guy get ratioed as bad as this guy. He'll have 5,000 views, get 1 to 0 likes, 20 negative comments, and then if John Macari or someone else comments underneath them, they have 50, 100 likes. He's getting ratio like I've never seen before. You're irrelevant, pal. I don't care if you go on WABC. People look at you to see what they could get on you. So you could say whatever you want. You're irrelevant. I don't care for you. but we will be seeing each other in a courtroom very soon. That I can promise you. So keep going on X, because you've always been a big tough guy. But when you sleep at night, pal, when you look in the mirror, you still see the back of that individual, an unarmed individual that you shot and got away with. Just remember that. I don't have that on my conscience. You do. So I don't have anything else to say about that gentleman, but he's a disgraceful human being. In fact, Hard X Core, shout out to you. You were going after that person in the comments only because they're speaking the truth. People are sick of this guy. And he's been on X on a tyrant. And, you know, I feel bad if you have an alcohol problem, kind of like you, Tran, did. But, you know, maybe this guy needs to be psychologically evaluated and have his guns taken. Because they tried to take the guns from Corey Pegues one time after he retired. Maybe this guy should have his guns taken away from him because he's a danger to himself and others. His mouth, all these different things. But that's the only time I'm going to address this clown, other than if he's in a future lawsuit. You know, I'm just saying. Let's see it, Jason. Sal, you need to do another show again where you explain your situation and charges and what happened. You know what? I'll do it in the future. And I'm going to have Eric Sanders on, who's my attorney, has a lot of different cases too. And I'll go over all of that again because there's going to be something coming very shortly. I just don't want to let the entire cat out of the bag. But you know where to look for right now if I'm mentioning a certain disgraced chief as an individual. But this is the last topic I want to get. Well, there's another one too, but this is the main thing here. Wife of ex-NYPD top cop claims arrest was revenge for husband's bitter feud with brass lawsuit. If you don't know, this is Deidre O'Connor Donlon. This is former police commissioner Tom Donlon's wife. Okay. And in this lawsuit, which I'm going to tell you, I know a couple of tidbits here because John Scola is the lawyer. She said the encounter was common routine until the officer on the scene got a phone call from a supervisor that changed everything, a lawsuit claim. She got stopped near East 56th and 1st, December 16, 2024, for a minor fender bender. No, her license wasn't suspended, and she did have her insurance on her phone. They were just going through the motions here until this sergeant shows up, and then all hell broke loose, right? And remember, Tariq Shepard doesn't like him, and all kinds of things going on behind the scenes. She was taken to the precinct, Ilbey, where she was handed a summons. So I turned around, and I says, you know, I read this lawsuit. I was reading this lawsuit, and I asked John this morning, John Scola, I says, you know, ask her when she got there. Was she fingerprinted? Was she given a mug? Because you got a summons. You know what goes with that, Ilbey. You can't just bring people off the street because you feel like doing it because you don't like them. Or you have to do avoided arrest. So this is what Deidre said. No. This is get this. She said, this is what this Officer Vargas told her that brought her in. I would have my mugshot and fingerprints taken after I was sent downtown to be arraigned. So that means, Ilbey, the avoided arrest was not done. They detained her, brought her in, and then just hand a summons. And then, oh, yeah, by the way, you going downtown. That's where you're going to get fingerprinted and arraigned. So where's this voided arrest? Because without the voided arrest, that makes this 20 times worse.
No, but I mean, what we did back then, the only reason we brought people in to write a summons is if they don't have an ID, we can identify who they are. So even though what were they excuse to bring her into the precinct in the first place? I mean, if she have an ID, she has everything. They have to have some kind of excuse, probable cause to bring her inside the precinct in the first place. So even though you brought them in for charges, any kind of charges, violation, misdemeanor, you got to do a void arrest and said, okay, it's solved. We end up giving a summons. But in this case, why did they bring her in the station house?
Eric Sanders just said it's unlawful. The NYPD policy is to issue a universal summons out in the field. Right here,
if I was that boss, I was that cop, I would have been like, you know what? Give me a CD, give me transfer, put me on midnight, give me a highway treatment. I'm not doing this. Like, This is not going to happen. I'm sorry. This not gonna. I don't care who you are. At the end of the day, when this goes to court as a cop, that Vargas guy is gonna be the one to blame, and they're gonna throw everything on that cop and the sergeant who authorized that. Nobody is gonna turn around and say, "Oh, I got a phone call from Chief such and such."
This lawsuit says right here she was put in handcuffs, taken to the 17th precinct station house, and kept in custody for more than 2 hours, only to ultimately be released with a clean slate. Unless they do avoided arrest, that cannot happen. You must do it. So you will illegally detain someone.
Yes.
Who
Even
authorized
when we did it, bring the people in, we brought them in because they didn't have an ID. There's no way to identify them. We brought them in. We did void of arrest. Everything comes back legit. You know what? Instead of criminal trespass misdemeanor, you get in a trespass violation. Or instead of such and such, you get in a disorderly conduct, you get released.
You know, Eric Sanders said the other problem, it's not a fingerprintable offense. See, John Scullin even thinking about this. I actually messaged him and said, wait a minute. Was she fingerprinted? Was there anything about taking a photo? Because they were talking about, what are you talking about bringing her downtown? You're not even supposed, this isn't, I don't know what they're trying to say she's arrested for.
Yeah, she's not arrested. She could be detained for what reason? She had her ID. They have the computers. They have the phones. You could do everything right there and then. You could give them a summons right there and then. Why are you bringing them in the station house in the first place? She had a warrant. You have to double check if the warrant is active or not. No, I mean, what was it? Like, I don't see no legitimate reason for them to bring her in cuffs to the station house. I don't see anything. Unless she had a warrant, they have to identify the warrant if it's still active or not. Or she had an I-card. If she's wanted for something, suspect or victim, that's what I'm saying. So it's sad. Who's going to get the short end of the stick? Like I said, and that sergeant who's authorized this.
I can see in the comments, Joe Roscoe said you could bring people in for summonses, but no, Hard X Score is telling you, bringing back someone in the station house for ID purposes, this does not apply here. She has an ID. You know who she is. She's also the police commissioner's wife. We know who she is. She has her ID card. You can't just bring them back because some sergeant got a phone call and said, because now you go. And when you bring her back, I'm telling you, because I did this. When you bring someone in for whatever it is, oh, I think you are a suspect or what. So you're bringing them in for, they think they trespassed. You need to write, if you don't write a summons, you have to do avoided arrest. You have to. Whatever you're going to do, a UF 250, a summons, you have to do avoided arrest with it. It has to go.
You have to do some kind of, I could vouch for this too, because Mr. Gibbs, I don't know if you know him. He's one of the councilmen in New York City. I arrested him before. When I was writing the summons shout out to Mr. Gibbs. We talked about it later, and then we became, cool as when I was in uniform. And every time I stopped somebody, he used to come and say, listen to this officer. He's real. He's legit. Don't, just cooperate with him. Everything will be fine. But before that, I arrest this guy. He was the councilman in this city. The reason I arrested him because I told him to leave when I was writing a summons 3 times. He refused to leave. And then when I asked him for an ID, he gave me an ID. I run them for disorderly conduct. And then he popped on a warrant. I brought him in. I had phone calls from every sergeant that I knew. And then when I walked into the command, this is the voice I heard. Oh, that man walking, bro. You're getting transferred tomorrow. Like, I don't care. I didn't care. I didn't do anything wrong. You can transfer me all you want. He was like, oh, I want your shield. I want your name, this and this. You know what I do? I said, I really don't care. I don't care if you're president of the United States. You did something wrong. So he went. And the next day he came, he apologized. And he said, listen, you're doing your job. And that's what I did. I mean, he could tell you true or not. So in this case, this lady getting pulled over, okay, getting pulled over, give her a summons, unless somebody's holding grudge and you want to take them over there for some odd reason. Why are they taking this lady in with cuffs? It doesn't.
Eric is bringing a lot of things here, and this is he knows the law better than a lot of people. The no identification is old thinking. The NYPD policies unequivocally issue a universal summons in the field. If you bring someone in for identification, you are buying a lawsuit. You either have probable cause or not. More importantly, in the past, it was difficult to establish the validity of insurance status, not any longer. So this is not an offense that you bring someone in on who has ID, who you know who they are. So again, and I did this. I'm telling you, I brought people in. You would have to do that stupid void. I did a void arrest for someone. That was like, this is just the way it is. You can't just, because I know the old school way, and I'm talking about the early 2000s, 90s, the old school guys told me, oh, bring them to the station house and write a summons. No, that's not how, you can't do that anymore. I don't think you got away with that for a long time, but legally you cannot do that. Nope. You bring someone in, you have to do that voided arrest, and you issue whatever it is you're going to issue them with that on the void arrest number goes on whatever the summons is, or you're going to give them. Because if you don't, that's why we have this problem. So the actual issue at hand now is that they did this without doing a voided arrest. So you illegally detained this woman for character assassination because it's the wife of the former police commissioner that you don't like. That's what this looks like, and that's what it is. And Eric says,
if I pull this person over, me and you in the RMP, we pull this person over, and she says, "Oh, I'm former commissioner's wife." Everybody is like, "Oh, snap! Okay, all right, have a nice day." But this time, somebody gets a phone call. She got everything legit, and all of a sudden, she gets in cuffs. It's embarrassing for her. It's embarrassing, and then she goes to the precinct in handcuffs. No arrest made, no nothing. It summonses road that it should have been done on the scene in the first place.
Yep.
So, I mean, what I see here is somebody's holding grudge. Somebody trying to get back to the old commissioner, I guess, and they stupid on them. They didn't do a good job because guess what? Nowadays, don't be stupid because everybody has cameras. Everything is recorded because you're telling that cop to do whatever you tell him to do. At the end of the day, that cop gonna turn around. He got his cameras. I hope he got his cameras on.
Eric says, irrespective of her representation, she deserved better treatment than that. The only issue here are the damages. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly. She's gonna. She's gonna win. Like Richie, Richie had one complaint in his whole career. $200,000 settlement. So it was a do nothing. So these guys, at the end of the day, they're gonna turn around and say, hey, such and such told me. Hey, sergeant told me. Sergeant is like, oh, lieutenant told me. Lieutenant is like, oh, captain told me. Captain is like, oh, DI told me. So till they find out whoever it goes to, at the end of the day, it was a like person. Nothing's gonna happen like Kaz, like Richie, like everybody else. They're gonna. Oh yeah, don't do it again. Have a nice day. Go grab your big fat paycheck. And people like me gonna suffer at the end of the day. Now I have to pay the lawyers. I have to suffer through all these years that I'm supposed to get paid to get my 3/4.
Yeah, and here, Daniel Kazania says this. I know Danny was spokesperson for Curtis Lever's campaign. Anyone going to jail for the PC auto pen? Would that be Chief of Staff Shepard? Oh yeah, well that's another issue that's going to be in the near future. You're going to hear about that one. That's going to be in another lawsuit, But you can't do this. That's why I keep pointing this out. The major problem here is the fact that you can't bring somebody in for something that it's not even it's just if this was even an accident, if so, you don't have anything. She's not suspended. She's not. She has her insurance. You have nothing.
Even an accident in New York City, the cops don't even go unless it's an injury. So it's you switch information. It's another unheard of thing that I find ever since this guy took the office. You just exchange information. Now he says, she says, there's no middleman. So good luck with that.
And this is really going to fall on the supervisors more than cops.
Yes.
The sergeant that allowed this, the lieutenant, anyone in that command, who called who, because this doesn't sit right. Obviously, the cop is going to sit there and go, we're not doing this. I know better. How many of us were in a car going, what are we doing here? This is like, just walk away. Either you fill a report out, you don't, whatever. Just, why are we calling? Why is this sergeant calling people? So this is what's going to happen here.
I mean, I wish that cop a lot of luck, because even though
he's a scapegoat right now, though. He's a scapegoat.
But that's what he's gonna go through this headache to clear his name, because he's gonna go through some headache, because I've been through lawsuits also, and I wasn't even there. Then stuff that you have to go through to say clear, like, dude, I wasn't even there. Like, what the hell?
This might be a tier 3 special. That's what I see Hard X scores saying. Tier 3.
It happens in tier 2 too. We had those yes boys, yes men, yes ladies. They did everything to get what they wanted it. So, but tier 3 is special. So, no offense to anybody. Nobody is.
That's going to be a big problem though for that sergeant. But that is the last thing I'm going to want to show you is there's this video I got. It was from the 79th precinct. This is on Facebook, and it's this. These guys that come up and they I don't know, they're ordering cops, but there's a way to do this. And what I saw here is despicable, and there should be some kind of law in regards to this. And you might hear some little words about what you're hearing, but let's just play a little bit of this. So you can see.
Yeah, so I'm walking on my phone. I'm talking shit. He thinking I'm talking to him. I wasn't even talking to you, bro. You just got yourself. Now I need y'all information, and now it's lit for you. Now I'm gonna embarrass you.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You turn around, you say something.
I wasn't talking to you. I look back, nigga. I wasn't even talking to you, niggas.
All right.
What was he? I ain't say shit to you, boy. I was right here.
Like it.
I didn't say nothing to you, boy.
There you go.
Send it. Give me your card too. Hurry up. Yeah. Hurry up. ID.
No, we'll take our time. We'll take our time.
Take it. Hurry up,
Yeah,
nigga.
sure. No,
Same way. You detained right now. I need your information. Y'all detained. I need your information. Let's go. Come on. Hurry up.
You see how close this guy is? They have their hands in their pocket. I mean, you keep watching this. This guy just keeps pressing, gets closer. If I'm those cops, first of all, you're right. They should be bladed. Don't have your hands in your pocket and just hand the stupid card and walk away. If this guy wants to come within, a couple of feet of you, then the guy can get summons, unlike what happened over there with Donlon's wife. Then you could do something. Because if this guy's going to come over and technically harass you as a cop, I don't know why there's no law or anything established like what you can. You could film police officers, but you also can't run up on them and harass them. I mean, you watch this. This video goes on. It'll be the guy's like in their face, and I don't know why they're even talking to him. Just walk away. If he does that, he comes after you. Then you have something. But right then and there, this guy's clearly harassing you. Have fun. Here's my card. Have fun with it. That's how I see it.
I see. I don't know. It's just this guys are like you just entertaining it. Like you said, just give the card. Just walk away. I mean, they tie your hands with these cards anyways. If I have to give him a business card with my shield number, and my shield number is on my chest, so now I have to write it and give him a card. Like, come on, like seriously, like that needs to go anyways. If he wants something to do with me, if he wants to make a complaint against me, guess what? Like everybody else, you have a camera. It's on my chest. Now I have to write it and give it to them. Like, cops has no say. They have nothing to do. Like, and they entertaining this. Like, just give them the card, walk away. Maybe they on the fixed post. If they leave you a fixed post, they get a CD. Maybe that's what they scared of. That's another funny part. God forbid you leave your fixed post, they give you a CD. So if I was them, I would just, here you go, guy. Matter of fact, I give you 2 cards, not one. If you lose one of them, you can have the other one. I just walk away. Have a nice day. Sir, have a nice day. If you keep on harassing me, I'm sorry. I'm going to tell you to leave 3 times. If that's not happening, I'm going to ask you to give me your ID 3 times. If that's not happening, I'm arresting you. So
this happens a lot, though. It's one thing if you say, you know, I want your car, blah, blah. There's a guy who does that, and then he leaves. He gets, and then you still see him trying to like get you in these gotcha moments with the camera. This guy doesn't walk away. He keeps getting in their face. But the cop should just be like, here, all right, go away. All right, here you go. Here's your card. Enjoy.
Cops are scared. They know if they do anything to that, at the end of the day, city gonna give this guy at $5,000 to $10,000 just to shut him up, just a lawsuit. It's been happening. You can look at it. So they know exactly where to get money. So if this cop turn around and say something to him disrespectful, he does a lawsuit. They're gonna give him $5,000, $10,000. There is people out there get rich because of this. And a lot of these cops, they don't know the laws. They don't know anything. They just sit there. Dude, just give him the card, walk away. If he's harassing you, guess what? There's a lot of stuff you could do. And I saw a video the other day, this guy calling this 2 cops. Oh, you're going to do this to me? You're going to get on your knees and do this to me? And then the cops sit there and listen to this guy.
Yeah.
Like, dude, just walk away. Like, why are you entertaining this? Like, I don't know. I don't know if they... Common sense is not common no more. I don't know. They scared because if they walk away, now they might get in trouble because now they're not listening to the. I mean, they get you either way. So now he's going to turn around and say, oh, he walked away. I was trying to say something. I was trying to ask him something. And then the department never got your back for anything. So
no. Me, if you ask me what you should have done, first of all, get your damn hands out of your pockets. Because you never know if this guy's got anything or he's going to do anything with his hands. Keep your hands out of your pocket. Hand the stupid card. Then your partner does it, and you walk away. Yeah. As you walk away, you keep your camera on until go in the building and do what do you call them? A vertical. Do one of those, and that's it. He'll be gone, and it's just going to be an incident nobody cares about. He's clearly trying to pick a fight or see what he can get you to do. But if you watch this incident, it keeps escalating. And the cops keep entertaining this clown when you shouldn't. Don't entertain him. Hand the card, walk away, go do a vertical, go do a car stop. Just get away from the guy. Then if he comes near you when you're doing that, then you can arrest him because he's in the middle of you doing official business. So,
I mean, because of those guys, he probably made money. So he's $5,000, $10,000 richer because of these cops.
In the end, is that a job that people should be taking? I mean,
no. I told you this before. I said, if you want to do it, it's a great job to do it. If you want to get your feet in, they hire you anyways in NYPD, and then something else, some other opportunity pops up, take it. Don't stay. So get your feet in. You know, get that 33 college credit, get that experience for 6 months, because on the paper it looks good, on the resume it looks great, because every other department thinks that, you know, NYPD is the greatest department in the world. Meanwhile, we have a trailer park shooting range in the Bronx. And, you know, at the same time, everything you do wrong, you get punished for it. Even you make an arrest, you still get punished for it. You get into an argument, they listen to the perp first. And after you know, you get treated like perp as a police officer. So take the job, get your feet in, and move on. So I don't know. It's just... Do I tell them to do it? Yes, do it till you find something else better to do it. And then, you know, you've seen a lot of people, 10 years, they move on to somewhere else. I wish I did.
Yeah, it's just a different job and time than when we were on there. But Ilbey, I think you've been on for almost 2 hours. You know, I always love when you come on. What is your final words, if you have any, and where can people reach you and see your stuff?
Listen, if you're a cop, more power to you. If you're a military member, more power to you. Stay safe. If you didn't do anything wrong, you know, just think about it twice before you do anything, because they're going to try hard to get you. So fight for your right. At the end of the day, there's light. So been through it, done it, and still going through it, still fighting for it. And I'm a fighter to the last end, because if chief such and such get his 3/4, if deputy commissioner such and such got 3/4 as a civilian. I mean, I'm gonna get mine. So don't get encouraged. They're not gonna help you. So don't trust anybody. I mean, unless you're in the club, you're more than welcome. At the end of the day, trust me, they will throw you. You're a grown person, so you know what's right, what's wrong. So do the right thing. Walk away. Don't do anything for money. Don't do anything for rank, because at the end of the day, it's gonna come and bite you in the behind. So look at it. These guys made it big. Now they dirts are coming out one by one. Everybody's. I mean, yeah, it's a biological work zone. I mean, whatever you want to call it. They spent millions of dollars on everything, but meanwhile, the morale is the key, and there's no leadership to give morale to these cops that do the hard work every day, all day on the streets. And there's always one bad apple on the tree, and we have it in the police department too. So don't judge every cop because of that one bad apple. You know, it's just stay strong. I mean, give me my 3/4. Like, I don't understand. Like, why are you making me go through hell and back?
Yeah, I hear that maybe there's a way through it if you go to Joyce's Tavern in Staten Island, but I don't know, it's just a rumor.
I'll go through there. Let's see what's going on. I want to see. I'll do a
Certain
live
bars,
video.
you limp to it. You might get some, might get some help.
I bet you my luck, they won't even give me that because they want me to go through. I don't know what it is, but like I said, if you're in the department, more power to you. God bless. And as soon as you find something, take it. Don't. But pension is good. Everything else is great. If you can handle it, do it. More power to you. If you cannot handle it, you bring your lifestyle to the department, your department to your lifestyle, you're going to have a hard time. So if you can know the difference between that, you can keep them separate. Hey, you're going to go through it. So, and they can find me on YouTube, Aycac.19, Ilbey Aycac. If they can, subscribe to my channel, I could make more videos. I could tell them about what I've been through. I could have some people come through. Like I said, I have some friends, they were willing to speak what they've been through. Stay strong. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, thanks for always, keeping it real. You're one of the most honest guys I know. And it's just crazy what the police department has become. And I value your expertise and your knowledge, and also what you've been through. Continue, you're doing a lot work wise to expose things as well. But if anybody can, please follow Ilbey also on Instagram. I think it's Aycac.19. That's where you can also follow on Instagram. So Ilbey, if I don't speak to you before with the holidays, happy holidays and have a good New Year. And we'll see what happens in the next few weeks. I think there's going to be a lot.
Same to everybody. Happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, happy everything that whatever you believe in. Like I said, divided, we start, we conquer. We fall. But if we united, we're together, everything can happen. You've seen it everyday life with these stuff. There's bad people and good people. And you see it on Instagram, Facebook, all these stuff they put it through. You know what they trying to do. So, like I said, they trying hard to, me and you have different beliefs, and we still can talk. Long as we are Americans, long as we on the right term. Don't bring nobody's religion, race into sex into any of this stuff, because it's not gonna get you anywhere. At the end of the day, you're gonna fight, argue, and you're not gonna get anywhere. Leave people's religion, sex, and race out of everything. It's just ridiculous. People are just looking at it, and people follow this. People, it just gets to me. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, hold on a second. You was gonna talk about that shooting. I'm looking at it, I'm gonna be like, why are they bashing the Muslim people? I don't understand. It's some
Don't get me started. I could go on forever with this stuff.
This is what I'm saying. Look at the history. Do your research. There is plenty. Back in the day, there was no research. There was no opportunity. There's nothing you can get on to do it. Now it's right there in your fingertips. Do your research before you believe what anybody's saying, what anybody's doing. Just do your research. Before you make a comment about my beard, before you make a comment about my religion, before you make a comment about what I do, just do your research. Don't come up to me and say, if I don't know anything, I'm gonna stay out of it. I'm not even gonna get into that conversation. I'm gonna listen to you. And then later on, I'm gonna do my research and I'm gonna get back to you. So you blaming certain race for certain things, do your research. Don't just go out there and stop listening to these stupid people on there trying to, put this religion against this religion, this against this religion. Do your research, man. Stop. It's just annoying.
That'll be the most important thing is that crime is down and we should build a shrine to the soccer mom. Just remember that.
Oh, and then we give every chief a 3/4 before they retire.
That's right. And they get an official bar stool, whatever gin mill they like. That's
golden plated.
Golden plated.
Yes. They're gonna give them the money anyways, like Saddam's palace, golden plated. Because they got the money. But when it comes to cops, they can even give you a raise. But the chief gets everything.
Ilbey, you're a good one, man. I like it. Always have fun.
I'm challenging Mandabi. Make me something in the city, I will fix something for you. But I didn't sponsor him, so he's not gonna make me anything. I'm telling him right now, I didn't sponsor him, so he's not gonna make me anything. I'm telling you.
You could be one of the cronies for the soccer mom in the police department. Maybe on that pension board to find out who's getting 3/4 or prove it.
Listen, I swear to you, I'll put everybody's dirt out there.
Anyone was bad. The bad people.
Yes. I will. Just put me out there. You wanna, put somebody in charge somewhere? I'll volunteer. Give me. And you know what? You don't have to pay me $230,000 a year doing nothing. My own personal car. Give me half of that price.
You have a category 2 car like these people.
Yeah, but you know what? They have he gets 10%, he gets 10%, he gets 5%, and then he gets to go to Mexico, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico to hang out and use that money. So who's gonna waste that money?
They just did.
Yeah. So
Ilbey, it's great having you on. I can't wait to have you back. Like I said, just have a good new year, and let's hope 2026 isn't as crazy as 2025 has been.
It's a pleasure. Like I said, I can't wait to go on John's broadcast too. So I'm waiting for it. Like I said, whenever you need me, whatever you want me to go through, I'm here. I'm still in Long Island for a little while, and then hopefully soon I could go move to Florida for good.
I'll be waiting. We'll catch up.
Yes, no problem.
No problem, man. Thank you very much, Ilbey. There you have it. Ilbey Aycac, not only a 20-year veteran, he's a military veteran. He fought for this country with the police department and overseas. All right, just remember that. Look how they treated him. I got something here before we have Jack on. Eric Sanders said, I just found out a third person in the post-hit piece about the Category 2 cars did not have one. So if you don't remember this one, it was that Lieutenant Abdel Messiah who made that big stink over all these people, Category 2 cars. He he mentioned a bunch of different people, 2 of which I know who they are. They did not have a Category 2 car, but hey, whatever. He admitted to misconduct. Chief Taylor, Richie Taylor told him he could use the car, but he abused it. So now it's 3 people that he alleged that don't have anything. So without any further ado, let's have Jack on. So that's the latest with that, with the Category 2 car fiasco. Jack, this is like a whirlwind day in New York City Police Department news.
I would like to see Ilbey make one of those "Give Me My Money" TikTok videos because John Shell gets 3/4 for a fake ankle injury. Kaz Daughtry has accumulated job time while working for the city as opposed to the police department. And here Ilbey is, banged up, hurt, multiple surgeries, had to wrestle with perps and cells despite being hurt on the job, and he's getting absolutely no love. So this discrepancy in treatment is absolutely unfair, and give the man his money.
I agree. Listen, he's got to. Some people get the disability lotto. You know, that means you don't say anything for 30 years and then you become a chief all of a sudden. Oh, yeah, I was hurt. Yeah, you're going to get it right away. And others that have legitimate injuries, well, they're not connected to anyone. So, yeah, no, we're going to deny you every single time you come back. So that's something that needs to be looked into, by the way. The pension, the disability pension board there, that needs to be looked at. That's something that the city council and them should be saying, why is it so hush-hush here?
Lo and behold, a lot of the issues that you guys are kind of talking about and covering in this show are being carried out by the two lame ducks who are at the top of the food chain. And for anyone who missed it, during Mayor Eric Adams' press conference today, he was talking about his wide-ranging achievements and accomplishments. Lo and behold, he invites Deputy Mayor for Public Safety Kaz Daughtry up to the stage, and he places a drone in a time capsule talking about all the crime they saved using drones on the subways in various neighborhoods, car chases on the beach, different places. He was the one who apparently invented and decided to implement drones. And it's also kind of ironic in a sense that two people who contributed absolutely nothing to New York City, one of who has gone on taxpayer-funded vacations for the past month and a half, spent a third of the month of November outside of the United States, are talking about all that they've done only a couple weeks before they're getting set to leave. That's what they call in the Latin language a mittendrinnen, an irony, a convenience, a weird thing of sorts, because they didn't do anything until the last couple of days, and then they try and revise history for all of the residents of the city. I guarantee, Sal, that in a couple months, when Zohran Mamdani takes charge and there's a couple issues that inevitably pop up, they're going to be coming back saying, don't you wish you guys voted us back into office?
Yeah, Kaz the Builder, who, I don't know, was he working? Was he not working? Nobody knows. He never put in any slips to tell you where he was at. I don't know. He's another Richie Taylor. I guess that's why Deputy Chief Richie Taylor just followed the Kaz Daughtry blueprint, you know? Just who knows where he is, what he's doing, what his guys are doing, who's responsible for them, where they're falling out of. Who knows anything? Don't ask questions because, you know, it's just, hey.
Yeah, and as you can see in this video put out by Mayor Adams' team, he's talking about using technology and bringing crime down. And I heard you earlier on in the broadcast talking about Kaz Daughtry's sketchy 50A history. I mean, just a basic search on the internet exposes that he had substantiated allegations for pulling a gun, threat of force, inaccurate official statement, misleading official statement. Both of those things are punishable as well. I mean, I think he only got a slap on the wrist like 10 vacation days because he is Kaz the Builder, right? He was under Jeffrey Madry's thumb for much of his career in the police department. But still, this is someone who's totally been exposed by the CCRB, yet advocates to keep it and supervise all of the cops who are out on the street right now. That doesn't make sense. It's like he became a boss and forgot where he came from, just as many of the other bosses do. And now he's focused on appeasing Mayor Adams, Jessica Tisch, all of the people he's working in conjunction with atop the food chain at City Hall. But at some point in time, you have to be a man of the people and care about what actually works for public safety and policing, as you are the deputy mayor of public safety who came from a policing background, yet don't really care about doing anything that's right for the cops anymore.
Like Eric Sanders said, the legs fell off the table. That's the best way to describe what just happened. And Kaz Daughtry, look, now it says he's on the MELD desk. Before it said he was. I've seen so much stuff. It's like I don't know what exactly is going on with the guy. I just know that he's going to retire. We don't know how he got his pension because he didn't do a full 20 years in uniform. He needs a waiver in order to even work as a deputy mayor because he's still in the police department. We don't have that. The 211 waiver is nowhere to be found, which also Phil Banks, Anthony Miranda, Tim Pearson, they all didn't fill one out themselves, even though they had police pensions. So again, I'm lost with this. And I can only think, you know, the waiver he signed, it's called Eric L. Adams.
That's a good one. I have to imagine Richie Taylor and some of the other cronies that survived the purge that took place a year ago, just about a year ago, when Jeffrey Madry, Iglesias, the entire internal affairs team was wiped out. I mean, the few people that survived that actual purge are probably going to be put under the Eric L. Adams category. But on that note, it's going to be very interesting to see how Mamdani handles the rooting out of the bad apples within the department. Does he try and go after some of the people that were committing misdeeds under Adams's tutelage while he was overseeing the city and city hall and the police department? Or does he kind of just try and flush the bad culture out, get rid of the bad apples, and bring in his new people? The problem here with Mamdani is I don't get the feeling, or I don't have any confidence in him, better put, that he's going to get the right people to be put in leadership positions. To me, Mamdani feels like more of the status quo. And when you factor in the fact that he's probably not going to really be that involved in public safety on a day-to-day basis, there's that much more reason for concern, because he's very ill-informed about what's actually going on within the police department.
Special Hagen said, didn't the DA's office have to review all the cases he gave statements in? They also recommend that they take him off the streets. You are correct. He wasn't supposed to be on the streets, but he took police action and was CCOB for it, yet he wasn't facing CCOB. He's a civilian. You know? He was also, I'm just telling you, there's more questions than answers with this. We're going to get an answer sooner or later. I mean, someone's got to give an answer to all of this stuff. And by the way, he's in multiple lawsuits, sexual harassment with Dana Ratchlin. I mean, everyone wants to, you know, so go find your favorite drunk there at Joyce Tavern and ask him, what'd you do with Dana Ratchlin? Nobody ever asked him that question, you know. But hey, you know, life goes on for these people, right? The corrupt get their bellies bigger, and the regular working man and woman get shoved to the side and get crushed. You know, that's the way of the New York City Police Department or New York City in general. That's what's going on.
No, unfortunately, that is the case. You just hope that there's at some point in time more transparency about what's a violation, what's not a violation. The problem with Mayor Adams' administration is there's been one set of rules for people in Category A, and then another set of rules for literally everyone else. And there's a very wide gap between the very top of the food chain and the very bottom. There's not much of a middle ground. So with Mamdani, the hope is that there's more rules and regulations, checks and balances to make sure that systems aren't being exploited. But then again, I mean, Mamdani doesn't know anything legislatively. He didn't propose any law enforcement related policies at all during his time in Albany. And as such, we're led to believe that he's going to be taking a very hands-off approach in overseeing Commissioner Tisch, who, remember, is very close friends with Ivanka Trump, who's part of the Trump family as well. So there's a lot of shady backroom dealing going on here, and it's probably not going to be helping the rank and file members in the end.
No, I don't think so either. You gotta hope for the best, right? I also see, I don't know if you caught what I found out last night. So there's a certain someone that was seen going to the sheriff's office the other day and taking things off of Anthony Miranda's desk. Now, I don't know if he's leaving or not, but this person seems to, her name is Isabella S. Giroux, working for the finance department, what they're under. But what's funny here is I have them here, secretary to deputy commissioner, right? This person was making $43,000 a year, and then jumps to the following year to from 2024, and in 2025 they made $162,000 in a year. This is Anthony Miranda's. What I'm hearing, what rumor is, and sources saying, that's Anthony Miranda's wife's very close friend who was seen going to the office and taking items off his desk. I don't know what that means, emptying out things. So that's the sheriff's office is its own animal. Like, there's all kinds of stuff going on there, and everyone just ignores it. But Miranda is running like a secret One Police Plaza out of there.
Also logged a lot of overtime here. I don't see.
Where does this come from?
Noteworthy. I mean, you have a base salary rate of pay that's about $89,000, and then you take home about $163,000. So doing the math, and I wasn't a math major in college, so I'm not great at it. You're probably getting about $75,000 or so in overtime, getting about 75 to 80% of your base salary on top of what you're already making here. And who knows if the overtime was real either. That's the real concern with someone like Miranda, who's been punished in the past for lying about overtime, this very subject matter. And now, ironically enough, he's in charge of overseeing overtime as the chief of the sheriff's department as well. So, yeah, this is very problematic. It's problematic in the police department where you have secretaries or assistants of chiefs who are in the lieutenant or sergeant rank who are making $300,000 a year more than the person that they're assisting and working under. You have secretaries who are in civilian, non-militaristic roles who are making $150,000 to do paperwork and set someone's appointments on their calendar. And listen, I mean, if Quathisha Epps actually was working the overtime that she put in for, and there's camera footage that proves it, fantastic, but it's still a systematic issue in general. You need to curb overtime and stop exploiting and wasting city funds in the manner that they are right now. It's not sustainable for the future, and it's going to hurt the people who are getting pensions as well. Everyone who's enjoying their pension, sitting at home, I did my 20 years, I'm hanging out, I'm relaxing. Wait till your pension plan is affected.
Remember, when it comes to police officers, your overtime is even a lieutenant, you have to be told by someone above you. So those people in charge, the Maggies of the world, and the chief federal officer of the world, and they have to answer for that. Epps is only doing what she's told. Now, there's other people that are involved in that thing, as far as the police department go. But here, this is a sheriff, and how is this secretary getting all that? I don't. And she's a first-year secretary, and a second year doubles and that's unheard of. There's cops right now that had to fight to get the $140,000 a year that they make right now. All right, I'm just telling you that
$30,000 of overtime too. If you're ratioing it, they're making about $110 in base and $30,000 in overtime, and they're fighting for every single penny of that overtime. And the sheriff's department is way smaller than the police department, and they don't, generally speaking, unless they're conducting a raid or anything like that.
Did this woman put in overtime to go empty out Miranda's desk for whatever it is that happened, taking things off his desk? I mean, there you have it. That's what this person's making. Really chummy with his wife. I don't know. Do they hang out with a certain other mob associate together? Who knows? But I'm just with that guy Miranda in the sheriff's office. If anybody on Mamdani's team watches the show, and I know they do, you need to look at the sheriff's office. If you leave anyone, and no matter what it is, if you're the mayor, you're president, when you come in, you need to clean house. The reason being the stench of the prior administration, which is what we're smelling right now. Miranda's there, the soccer mom's there, the underlings underneath her, the Stevensons, the Castillos, these people all from the Eric, like you keeping them around. Like, what are you doing? You're asking for it. Walking in, Mamdani's failing by keeping those people there. Even if you want to wish the guy well, you're keeping these corrupt people around. That's going to be what happens. We don't know in 2026. That's, what can I say? What do we have coming up tonight on the 10-Foot Tavern?
Yeah, the 10-4 Tavern, we have a really exciting show coming up tonight. Joining Tom Joyce and Peter Forcelli will be Tom Monahan, retired lieutenant from the Las Vegas Metro Police Department. And if that name sounds familiar, or if he happens to look familiar, it's because Tom also works with the Las Vegas Knights from the NHL. Got to see them win the Stanley Cup, was on the ice, got to hoist it up as you see in that graphic. So he's going to have a lot of really good insight on everything from policing to overseeing security for a professional sports team. That's one aspect of law enforcement that we don't talk about a lot here on the Finest Unfiltered Podcast Network. So that's going to be a great show. And then tomorrow night on the Executive Perspective, Ron Layson and Rob Lucas, are going to be joined by retired Deputy Chief Michael Marina, who's slowly becoming a rising star here on the Finest Unfiltered. I'm sure you guys have seen him on the morning show with John and Eric, joined Tom and Pete as well. So yeah, he's going to be joining the Executive Perspective tomorrow evening to talk about responding to active shooters. That's obviously a very pertinent topic right now with everything that took place over the weekend in Providence and elsewhere. Rob Reiner's situation as well. He's going to talk about how you handle some of those national types of cases. So it's going to be a very interesting show. 10-4 Tavern tonight, live 7:05 Eastern Time, 19:05 for all of you military time folks. Tomorrow night, Executive Perspective, 5:05 1705 for the military folks. And then, of course, we have the Finest Unfiltered show on in the morning, live at 8:05 with John and Eric. They're going to have a very exciting one as well. So you can tune into the Finest Unfiltered YouTube channel and just keep the tab open on your computer because we have very exciting shows the rest of the week.
That's right. Great content always here, and like Mike Marino, I might have him on, Chief Big Mike, as I call him. I didn't work underneath Mike. I mean, he was in Brooklyn North, and I was a Brooklyn South guy, but we trained in the gym together. Where a friend of mine, Big Sammy, if you don't know, he was a lieutenant out in Staten Island. My friend Sam looked like he should have been Mr. Olympia every single year. And we trained together. We used to go to Vegas together with a bunch of cops I knew. It was all about who was training harder than the next person. So who ran 10 miles, who ran. So big Mike, shout out to Chief Mike Marino, whose expertise in the gym, we'll say. We used to work out early in the morning together. And it was like we worked out and then who went to court, who went to, Sammy, I believe, used to work in Brooklyn South at a different command. This is when I was in Citywide Traffic Task Force. And then Mike, he was already retired. But I remember when he was about to retire. So shout out to Mike. He is the poster child they like to use him for that nonsense that happened that he wasn't a part of. That whole steroid thing. Yeah, he wasn't a part of it, but they made him the middle. He was the guy that they kept going to, but he had no involvement. Yet the job, used him as a guinea pig. So always give a shout out to Mike. He's a good man and knows his stuff in the gym too, by the way. He gave all of us hope because they used to tell us, you can't take you go to GNC. There were cops going to GNC that were terrified of walking in. Somebody's going to call IB on me. Like, that's what they were doing. Just so you know how the police department is. Cops were afraid to walk into GNC because some other cop may see them go in there and call internal affairs, would trigger the whole thing. You need to get dole tested, which is illegal, as you know that test is not even accurate or scientifically proven to be accurate. That's what they would do. So this is the stuff you deal with in the police department. They didn't even want you to be in shape. He's on steroids. He looks good. Oh, he cares. He works out every day and trains, even though he's got to work 50 hours a day. What a bunch of nonsense. We'll say a sad note, but a good note as well. The Cyclones in the Highlight League, they won. This was the match the other day. They beat the Devils. They won 4 out of the 5 games. So the Cyclones are now the defending champions. They're the last champions that be coming from Magic City Fronton. Of course, they'll be moving over to a new facility, I believe, in February or late January. But that was the championship. So another year at Highlight in the books. So. And that's that. So I'll be back on Tuesday. I'd like to say thanks everybody in the comments and everybody that hung on. I mean, it was a lot of material, a lot of stuff that we were talking about today. It was just so much news coming out of the police department, and I like to give it the way it is to you. I like to tell you the truth. We don't like to, tell you what you want to hear or whatever. We're just going to give you my take on it, and it's fact-based analysis. That's the best way to prove it. So I'll be back on Thursday at I don't know if it'll be 105. Might be a little later. If I am, I'll let you know because something might be coming up, like time confliction. But I'll be back on Thursday. You'll be back here on the Sal Greco Show. Until then, hope everybody has a good rest of your day. Have a good evening. Check out 10-Foot Tavern tomorrow, Finest Unfiltered, and, of course, the Executive Perspective at night. So I'm signing off from South Florida, which, as you know, is a sunny place for shady people. Now, I know you're tired of searching on the web for things and not getting the results you're looking for. I have something for you. FreeSpoke. FreeSpoke is a search engine that is all about authenticity rather than agendas. Labels, media bias, no intrusions, or data leaking or your data being taken from you. Porn free, none of those ads, unlimited, unbiased AI, deep dive podcast searching, and You can get it by going to freespoke.app.link/Greco. Use the same link to get a 35% discount on your premium subscription. What are you waiting for, folks? This is the way of the future. Free Spoke.
What I'm asking New Yorkers for is to look back at all the things I've done as a deputy commissioner for operations, the assistant as assistant commissioner, and my time as a not only as a New Yorker but as a police officer. I get stuff done.
Listen, there was a book that came out that Jasmine Ray wrote, and in the Daily News today, it was stated that there was a sexual action that happened in Borough Hall. She put in that book, and it wasn't. You're a dark, sick person, man. You know that? You're a dark, sick person. Your name was on the byline. And there's some of you that have been covering me. You guys could part. Let me do this. Y'all could depart. Some of you have been covering me for 3.5 years. Some of you are so sick and dark, and you're the leader of that. You're one of the most dark writers that I've ever seen in this city. And your personal sick vendetta and the sickness of how you think of over-sexualizing a black man, that in the book is stated that there was a sexual action in Borough Hall. That was never in the book. But that's typical of the sickness and the darkness of your sick mind. You're one of the sickest reporters I know. Go to the next question. You're a sick person.